But without further ado, guys, the draft is finally ready, and take us into the draft casters.
And here we go. The most anticipated match for the NACT fall season has finally arrived. Definitely grab some popcorn, get some drinks, put your seatbelts on, because there's going to be some turbulence through this draft between C9 and BTK.
Yeah, and C9 is going to be on the blue side. They get first pick. They lock in the R lot. I want to take a look at the bands real fast because these drafts are firing off quick. Yeah, the Hylos, the Ruby, the Alpha to target down onto Moba Zane. On the side of BTK, the Ling against best player. We get the Foveus so that Nats can't get his hand on it in the chip as well. And these things are coming in right now, Weezy.
Yeah, I mean, Prioing the Edith over there for fried chicken. He's definitely going to be possibly swapping to that. I mean, they still can flex it over there to Shark, the Lilia. This is interesting on Hoon because majority of the games that we've been watching, at least from week 1, he's been playing a lot of those mages that fight from afar, like the Navaria, you know. And so with this, Lilia is going to be more up close and personal. Now, the black shoes can be taken by the Valentino over there by Marcuti, so it can kind of provide some survivability on his side. Jungle, Zane's going to run this Bane against the Nolan. I mean, I feel like the Bane is great on pushing objectives. He's good for bursting down those turrets as well. It's more of a Zane playstyle, right? He just focuses on his farm. When you're looking at best player, he loves the assassins. He thrives on trying to get those early kills. And what better hero to do it than the Nolan?
Yeah, most definitely now. I'm thinking about what's coming. The Lolita band does come out for BTK. I thought maybe they might try to prio that. It pairs very well with the Lilia, but either way, if they put Shark on the Edith here, it's an aggressive mid lane. You got Bane as well. It is a in-your-face mid lane. You know, you mentioned that we've been seeing a bit more long-range mages from Hoon, but I think this pairs very well with a fast early game comp. Lilia has some insane wave clear, some insane pressure, especially at level 4. Once you get those black shoes, you can look for dives, you can look for invades, you have the full package. C9 gonna ban out the Alice. BTK last ban, do they keep hammering into the roam position here?
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen, even when speaking of roams, like the Edith can still be flexed over there to Shark. I mean, we got to actually see that when Chicken picked up that glue, the first showcasing of glue the entire NACT fall season. So there's definitely a lot of opportunity on the board. I mean, even if he wanted to run that Edith in the XP lane, there's some Mathilda still on the table if they want to go in for the support route. There's just so much to grab, and honestly, I think Mathilda would work out here because then you have the Valentino who doesn't profit off the Roamer's ultimate. So we'll have to see which way this goes between both sides. We're yet to see what's going to be ran inside of the gold lane. There's been a lot of interesting things in the gold lane, right? Harith still on the board, yet to be banned out. Will they pick that up with this opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, both sides needing the gold laner. Harith open. I think it's a solid pick for Zia. They could go for, you know, something a bit more out of bounds. It's not like we haven't seen anything, but I think Harith is definitely the solid go-to right now. They're on first pick. They do still either need an EXP or roam, but they go for the God Out Chaka. This is going to be our second time seeing it. Earlier, we saw it come up from the Night Horde, from Gosu Night Horde. So that means most likely that will be in the roam position. Edith into the EXP. I mean, you get the taunt, right? You get that that pull-in, which can also buy Hoon a little bit of time to get those glooms off. So it's definitely interesting. And once again, it is a very Ube-esque composition so far. Very keep it together, steamroll over the opponent.
Well, I mean, with the Gatakachka, that's definitely going to be inside of the roam position. So that means Shark or Chicken is going to be running this Edith in the XP lane. Now the R lot still can be flexed. This can still be an R lot roam, but no, it's going to be the Grok slotted in over there for Cold World, going to swap over there with Nats. So we are going to be looking at, this is actually something I've been wanting to see, right? Chicken up against Nats. Who is going to kind of be more impactful in terms of rotations? You mentioned it earlier during the day, the XP lane. A lot of teams kind of overlook that lane and don't really see the importance, and it doesn't get put in the spotlight as much. But the XP lane has a heavy impact on creating opportunity in the early game.
And Basic seems to go for comfort here on the Claude. It's a pick that we've seen him use a lot. You mentioned the EXP lane. My eyes definitely on the gold lane as well. Just, I mean, all over. There's so many matchups here. The Hoon versus Marcuti, the Zia versus Basic, the Fried Chicken versus Nats, Zane versus Best Player. I mean, it is all over the place. But I think this game, at least for me, it's definitely the off lanes. Fried Chicken and Nats, Zia and Basic. I do feel like there's a bit more of a grudge match between Zia and Basic right now on who the best gold laner in NA is.
Well, we're rolling out the red carpet into the land of Dawn for the most anticipated series of the NACT fall season. The Bloodthirsty Kings revamped versus Cloud9 with the new addition from the Philippines, who will be able to claim a victory and earn the title as North America's greatest.
So let's take a look at this. Mobazane on the Bane. We saw him pick it up once last week. Last week we saw him actually play 4 different junglers 4 different times, so it doesn't seem like hero pool is a huge issue currently. He does have backup picks. He has opportunity. So I'm excited to see how that goes. But Coldworld and Mark Cutie already putting huge pressure onto Hoon. The Grok, I mean, having the Grok, picking up that emblem, you're able to clear lanes almost faster than anyone else, and it's going to give C9 a huge advantage when it comes to wave clear.
Yeah, you are going to have to keep a close eye on Coldworld, especially with these wild charge plays for the knockup. Now, you know, last week we got to see Cloud9 go up against Accelerate. I feel like it was more of a fun time for them, right? They were just pulling everything out of their bag, not really too worried about it. But BTK, it wasn't the same story. They were going up against a little bit of a harder competitor, Ghost Nighthorde, and they definitely had to put on a little bit of a stronger performance to maintain their composure and claim that 4-0 victory. Now with Cloud9 facing up against BTK, they have to apply that pressure. You can't take this one lightly, and that's what we're seeing right now with their aggressive nature.
Yeah, Nats being pretty proactive, able to keep Fried Chicken at bay as well. Best player does look for the camp steal. Not sure exactly if he got it. BTK needs to start moving. It seems like finally they're getting into the groove. They are moving a little bit. Fried Chicken misses the Earth Shatter. Nat's able to sidestep, and with Fried Chicken down to half health and Turtle up in 10 seconds, is this going to be the deal breaker?
Yeah, deal breakers is what we're going to be looking for. Who will be the first to make a mistake and who will seize the opportunity? We are seeing the Turtle quickly spawn in the next 5 seconds. Everybody getting ready for this level 4 to fight it out. Zane, definitely known for his farm rotation and taking the early advantage in the jungle, but he's paired up against best player, both of them in position for the retribution.
Ult does come out. Fried Chicken able to get the flicker. Earth Shatter on the backside. Best player goes down. Mobazane goes down. Martuti takes the Turtle. Jungler for jungler. Now Shark in trouble. It's a double kill over to Coldworld. May not be the hero you want to give it to, but it's still a win in the book for Cloud9.
Yeah, able to not only get more kills, but to take that Turtle as well and do some chip damage on the turret for some additional gold. And Coldworld's doing a great job providing additional vision and pressure onto Mobazane's purple buff. We talked about it, right? Zane thrives on farming, and if you can get him uncomfortable there, it can give you the little bit of momentum you need to push forward in the early phase.
And right now, it's both teams just locked onto the other team's jungler. Everyone in BTK went for best player. Everyone in Cloud9 went for Zane. Both junglers go down. So at least neither team's going to get a huge lead in terms of retribution here. It's level 5 to level 6, so best player is a little bit ahead. Zane's going to need to catch up, but Cloud9 feels the momentum. They have the pressure right now.
Yeah, and you know what I say about pressure. It makes diamonds or it bursts pipes, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. Now, Basic running on this Claude. More of that mid to late game marksman, but has a lot of survivability in his kit, which is going to work really well, especially up against Harith, who could be super aggressive up close and personal in your face. And with the changes to Harith, having those additional dashes to deal some damage. Speaking of damage, though, Zane taking his first death alongside best player, both of them an eye for an eye on that Turtle play, but the Turtle did go over to Cloud9. Can they keep that momentum moving forward, though? You're seeing everybody shift focus down to the bottom side for a possible play. May be able to find that opportunity as Coldworld rushes on Mobazane.
A little bit of damage on a Hoon. Marcuti able to get a couple shots off, pushing Hoon back. And you know, I came into this game thinking that BTK might have the laning phase advantage, thinking they might be a little bit faster paced, but the concussive blast on that Grok is giving Coldworld and Marcuti such a quick lane clear, and Hoon isn't able to keep up with Shark. They're getting split up, whereas Coldworld and Marcuti are rotating on the map. They're looking for plays. They're keeping map control. It does look like we might be having a pause coming up, though.
Yeah, that one came over from Fried Chicken, so as we are going to probably come back over here to your caster's desk, man, a lot to break down within the first few minutes of round number 1, right? Zane and best player, both of them dying side by side. Marcuti making up the difference and claiming that Turtle. The first objective on the board for Cloud9 is going to give a little bit of advantage. Not too much to say it's out of the ballpark for BTK, but a good start for the early phase.
Yeah, I think it's pretty huge. I want to take notice real fast. If we notice the Cloud9 camera, it's the team camera. It doesn't swap around between players. All of the teams sitting around the table right now, giving real, you know, just that's the vibe we haven't. It's the first house that we've seen in NA, and it's nice to see them all together. Nice to see them all playing together. And right now, it does feel like it's making the difference. They're moving as a unit. To whereas Hoon's kind of suffering for something that we see from him. We've seen it happen before with Hoon. He's sitting a little bit too much in that mid lane. I need to see him move around a bit more. Shark's moving, but he's consistently kind of leaving Hoon behind. And Marcutie and Cold World are able to find that cutoff point and split them up.
Yeah, I was going to say, Cold World's doing a great job on making sure he gets to where he needs to before the opposing side can. Even invading Zane's purple buff, we got to see a little bit of that before the pause. It reminds me of when Shark was against Zane, and he would do that time and time again, and I was always pointing it out. I was like, you have to be aggressive on him. You cannot give him breathing room. But speaking of breathing room, let's go ahead and dive right back into the Land of Dawn for some more anticipated action.
All right, so now Shark, Hoon, Fried Chicken all trying to make their way to this turtle. It's a full 5v5, everybody in the house. Zia now getting involved as well, drops him on force, able to get the fission down on Marcutie. The Avatar comes out, best player still able to get the turtle though. Shark in a little bit of trouble.
Go!
Best player looking for the target as Cold World escapes as well. Deadly catch does not connect. Fried Chicken flickers in, does not connect as well. Everybody standing, but Nats wants more. Big final slash on the Shark. Shark taken low, able to dash away in just the nick of time. Marcutie does not connect, but Cloud9 still comes out on top. We're looking at 2-0, not only in kills, but in turtles as well.
Yeah, I mean, that was an overall win for Cloud9 and nothing traded back for BTK. They didn't find a kill. They didn't find an opportunity on the map as well. And Cloud9 putting on that pressure again. Almost able to steal that orange buff. Look at the bot side in the 2v1 lineup, but Zia, honest comfort pick with this Harris will force Nats and best player out. Right now, even though it's not high in kills, slightly in the mechanics, Cloud9 is performing a little bit better.
Cloud9, just like I said, man, they feel comfortable right now. BTK, though, they're not behind too much. It's a 2,000 gold deficit. We know, we talked about it last series. Some of the top teams can definitely play from this. We haven't seen BTK really take that full fight yet, and they are going to hit a power spike at some point. So Cloud9's job is to either keep up the aggression or watch out for the level 8 power spike and just know when their time to shine is. But here comes the wild catch, the deadly catch. Marcutie able to pop the black shoes with the IMU, back to full health.
Yeah, and that's what you said. Picking up that Valentina to kind of profit off this Lilia pickup. Both of them having the black shoes to get back to safety and also bait out some utility. You got to see Hoon bait out that final slash from Nats and then use the black shoes to get all his HP back and utilize some of that utility across the board to not have to worry about in these team fights. And those are the decisions you have to make to give your team the little bit of edge you need to win these fights. Right now, you're looking at a big, massive fracture from best player. Hitting Zia, Shark, and Zane in the mid lane.
Yeah, that's huge. BTK's going to have to watch out for that. Best player in his comfort zone right now on this Nolan. Feeling good about it. Here comes the conceal play. Focusing down onto Fried Chicken. Fried Chicken under the tower. But with 4 members of C9 going for the dive, there might not be an escape. The wild charge connects. Fried Chicken looks for the Earth Shatter. Moore just zone him away now. BTK coming up to save the day, coming up to help out. Turtle on the map.
I think that was a little bit of an overcommitment. Now he doesn't have the wild charge for this turtle fight. He's going to use that wall, though, to go ahead and reset it. A wise decision and a high IQ play. And this is what you see from the greatest in North America. Right now, though, 2-1 on the scoreboard. Still a pretty even game, even though both turtles have gone to the side of Cloud9, and they're trying to claim the last one here. BTK ready to try and take it away.
That's your best player. He's trying to be sneaky. He's hanging out up in that top bush. Mobazane can't help but start this objective, and sometimes that's not the best move, but he's going to go for it. Turtle does not get reset. Mobazane able to take it unscathed. They needed that one on the map to make sure this gold lead doesn't escape them. But look at the boss side, Basic, drilling down on those towers.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier. Basic, one of those players, he's not really too team fight oriented, but more objective focused, right? He likes to split push and go where the enemy team is not. So he finds a trade for that turtle. Yes, they lose it, but they're able to get the turret on the bot side, and I'm okay with that. As long as you find something to kind of work in your favor. But BTK claim that turtle is going to give them a little bit of room that they need, right? Some additional XP boost, gold boost, and shielding, especially for these next team fights. You are going to have to watch out for Basic, though, on this squad. Like we said, he's going to scale through the time. He's going to pick up that DHS. He's going to pick up that the golden staff. Those enhanced basic attacks are going to be a problem when he jumps in with BMI. But right now, BTK still putting on some pressure. They are a team that knows how to play, even when they're behind.
Yeah, losing that turtle and getting that tower is a great trade for C9, honestly, because here's the thing. Next Lord comes up on top side, and if you have opposite lane control, you have control of that long lane, it gives you a huge advantage over these Lords. So making sure they did it on that third turtle, well played, basic, hanging out on that boss side, making sure the wave is continuously pushing. And the movement he has with the BMI, he's always going to be a little bit ahead of Zia, I feel like. He's always going to be able to make it back to these fights a little bit faster. So right now, with basic and control of that lane, it's a big advantage for Cloud9.
I mean, it's a ticking time bomb right now, right? The more items he gets, the more he's going to be able to burst down the heavy frontline composition that BTK has. I mean, you're talking about a Gattaca, talking about an Edith, a Bane, and the Harith, who requires to play a little bit up close and personal as well. So they are going to have to watch out for him, maybe try and find a way to pick him off and stop that train that he's starting to roll on. But right now, Cloud9, you can tell they're in control of this game. They're the one kind of leading the way in terms of the map. Definitely in terms of the economy as well, spearheading the way in gold. They are up by only 1,000 gold, though. And, you know, this is the thing when it's top teams. They don't have a high kill count, but they have, like, high mechanics on taking these objectives. They play everything with such a passive play style, but know when to be aggressive as well.
Yeah, both teams taking a slow Lord. Now Basic getting involved up in the top side. More damage down on the tower. It's just hanging on. Fried Chicken trying to defend. Zia going back down to the boss side to clear the lane. Does Cloud9 make the big play here? All 5 members up at the top.
Yeah, you are looking at Cloud9. They lost that last turtle. They got the trade on the turret, and now going to go in for this objective. They need this Lord for push potential, and best player will be the one to seize that objective. Nobody falling in the process, and BTK not able to find a trade.
Yeah, they just rushed it, bursted it down, and, you know, you said that Cloud9 feels in control not only of the game, but just of the map right now. Playing so well, just kind of keeping BTK where they want them. BTK finally maybe going to be able to get a tower here, find something with this Lord coming towards them. It's a small win in a big game.
Yeah, you're going to see Lord make its way on the bot side. Basic continuing to farm, waiting to jump in with that BMI, ready to get a kill. Needs to watch out for him. You're going to see that Dominance Ice picked up by Cold World, trying to limit some of the, get some anti-heal to work in his favor. Now, they need to take down this turret in the mid lane to be able to invade easier on the map in their favor. It's still only 2-1, 10 minutes in. I mean, earlier we saw, like, what, 15 kills in, like, 5 minutes? This is not the same story, and this is the difference in caliber on a higher elo team.
Basic comes in with the Blazing Duet, able to dodge out of the way of the deadly catch. MLBB in a little bit of trouble. Avatar Guardian does come in, but MLBB still goes down. Big knock up, wild charge coming in from Cold World. Shark next on the block, getting chopped. Fried Chicken not trying to defend, but look at Zia. Lord still crashing in. Fried Chicken in trouble. Mark Duty finds the kill. 3-0 Cloud9, decimating the Bloodthirsty Kings.
I feel like G the Ico's in the kitchen making them some steak right now. I think that's why they're getting hyped up. They are performing today, dominating in this game. The Bloodthirsty Kings need to find a way to take this back in their favor as the Tier 2 falls for the mid lane.
Can I just say that Mark Duty and Cold World right now are on fire. They look like Hoon and Shark a year ago. You know, they look like Zia and Shark back in M3. I mean, these guys right now are just playing so clean as a unit. They've been aggressive from the beginning. They've been in BTK's face, and most of the time it's BTK at another team's face. BTK unable to handle the pressure right now. They got to find something out.
Yeah, but you can tell they're getting super confident from the side of Cloud9, and sometimes overconfidence breeds arrogance, and arrogance breeds mistakes. So they need to still be cautious, still take it passive, like they did this entire game if they want to maintain that momentum. The momentum!
Mons Force does drop. Avatar unable to connect onto Cold World because of the passive. No knock-up. Basic gets in the Gold Meteor for a little bit of a passive protection when his health gets low. Going to give him a bit more survivability. Bloodthirsty Kings, 6K behind, Wheezy. What do they do here if they want to take this game?
I mean, they just need to hit those power spikes, right? They need to get Zia online so he can deal that damage. They need to find a way to catch Basic out of position because he is scaling through the times. He's at almost 9K gold, 1K above Zia right now. Definitely building those core items, Corrosion Sight, Golden Staff, Golden Meteor, and the Demon Hunter Sword. He's almost full kit right there at the 13-minute mark. He's ready to go in with that Blazing Duet. He's ready to go with that BMI. I think BTK, maybe they try and find a mistake. They try and, you know, like I said, the arrogance starts to breed mistakes, and that mistake can be something they can lean in on to turn this back in their favor.
Yeah, I feel like the Gatakacha is a little off right now. Best player able to get another big Lord. BTK able to do nothing about it. I just feel like the ultimate's a little too telegraphed. Not only that, but Cloud9's composition doesn't really call for a team clumping up. It's a team that's looking for angles. You have Best Player trying to make his way to the backside. You have Basic, who's not getting involved until at least halfway through the fight. Gatakacha wants to go against maybe something like a Faramiz, where everyone's going to jump together. Something like an Estes, where everyone's going to be clumped together. So Shark's unable to find any big ultimates, you know? And when he does bring it out, everyone knows it's coming a second or two before the animation connects.
Yeah, it's just telegraphed, pure poetry in motion right now for Cloud9. With the Luminous Lord on the top side, lanes are being synced right now, and only Inhibitor standing for the side of the Bloodthirsty Kings. It's looking like they're planning on opening up this base.
That Lord's going to be knocking down. Mark Cutie holding on the front side along with Cold World. Look for the big wild charge. Does not pop it off just yet, but the deadly catch does come out. Mobazane just trying to defend Nats.
Oh!
Over there comes the wild charge! Three-man knockup before I take response to the Earth Shatter. Brings him up. Mark Cutie still dashes away to safety, and while this is happening, middle Inhibitor does go down. Best Player pulling a sneaky one around the side. Prolific Roar does finally lock in for Mobazane, but Basic still finds the tower. Cloud9 is coming in from all angles, and now Mobazane goes down. Avatar connects to nothing. Nats bites the bullet, but it doesn't matter because Basic is cleaning up with a blazing duet. Gonna be able to BMI away. Cold World still holding down the front with Mark Cutie. Cloud9 find 2 Inhibitors and a Nats. I mean, all for the price of a Nats.
Man, that's a high price right there. That's how expensive Nats is. Look at that. Look at how much they gained from him falling right there for Cloud9. 1 Inhibitor standing for the side of the Bloodthirsty Kings. The concealed play called out. Can they close this game?
Best Player looking for more. Zia trying to bounce around, trying to find an angle. Zia able to take out Cold World. Mon Sports does come down. He's hard one to catch. Zia still 2-0-0. Finally got in. The magic penetration should be able to do a little bit more damage. That's who they need to come online here.
Yeah, I mean, BTK, their team win behind, still knows how to play like they're ahead, so we can't count them out just yet. We've seen Zayn with the odds stacked against him still be victorious, so we'll have to see how this plays out. 7-3 on the scoreboard at the 15-minute mark. We're just now hitting 10 kills overall as a collective. Right now, almost 50K. Everybody's slowly getting to full build. You did see Cloud9 hit those power spikes a lot earlier just due to them getting 2 turtles and also all of these lords at bay. Oh no, my god.
The 1v1. The 1v1. This is what they all wanted. Best Player versus Mobazane in this game. Best Player's coming out on top.
Yeah, able to take him down with the Nolan. The burst potential from that fracture, too much to handle. Zayn, a very rough start for game number 1 on this Bane. Sitting at 0-4-2, and they don't have the Retry, an opportunity for another Lord in Cloud9's hands.
They're going to try to go for this Lord. The burst is so fast.
Go!
This guy doesn't have time. But now Shark on the run. Nats able to get a nice final slash. Mon Sports does come down. Zia able to dance around. Able to put up a nice amount of damage. Best Player goes down the shutdown. Zia collects. Looking for more, but skill falls. Mark Cutie finds him in the midst of the chaos. Who's now in trouble as well. Getting bursted. Nats on the chase. He's hungry. Mobazane looking for the final shot, but can't get the kill. Shark on the run as well. Now World looking for more. Shark does go down. Mark Cutie with the killing spree. 3-0-5. Unkillable, untouchable. Lord coming, looking for the rush. BTK against the ropes. They're gonna lock on. Basic won't let it go down easy. That's gonna be game 1 for Cloud9.
What a game! Number 1 for the debut, Cloud9 BTK, the match everybody's been waiting to see. Cloud9 starting it off early with a nice finish, claiming a victory. And honestly, it was cool, calm, collective. The addition of Nash definitely had a heavy impact. The R-Lot was there when needed with the final slash. The team overall barely missed a beat. I mean, they only lost 1 objective. They lost 1 turtle that entire game. Everything else was for the taking. Even when Basic wasn't in the team fights, he was split pushing, he was taking the turrets, and he was making the opportunities still work in their favor. And that's what you have to do if you want to take down a heavy contender like the Bloodthirsty Kings. But now the question is, where did BTK go wrong?
I think it was more of where did Cloud9 go right, man. I think the Grok pick was great, especially against Lilia, who has great wave clear. The Grok pick with the concussive blast gave them a guaranteed wave clear win. They were able to beat out in the laning phase, and Cold World and Mark Cutie were all over the place. Mark Cutie 3-0-5. This guy is stepping up. I've had my eyes on him since last season, ever since he joined Cloud9, and he has not disappointed. And I was one of the doubters. I was wondering if he belonged on the team, and now this dude is a monster right now. From Area 77 to here, he is proving himself.
See, I was the opposite. I was always a Mark Cutie fan. Even when he was running in the gold lane, I was like, dude, this man is a problem. He knows how to be passive and aggressive at the same time. It's just a perfect combination. And yeah, switching. I mean, the mid lane wasn't even his main role. He flexed over to the mid lane and just dominating overall. As you're seeing some of the stats pop up on the board, that doesn't even really paint the picture of the amazing gameplay we saw from match number 1. Now, for the side of BTK, they just got to put on a little bit more pressure, right? I mean, there were some things that went right, but there was a lot more that just didn't work in their favor. I think maybe they didn't expect the aggressive nature to really be that dominant on these early objectives. I mean, we got to see Cold World. You kind of mentioned him a little bit earlier. Rotating to the purple buff, rotating to the orange buff, providing that vision, and keeping Zane away from farming as easily as he's used to against other teams.
Yeah, I think a big mess up here as well. I think the Gatakacha wasn't the most solid pick. I don't know if it was testing something. I don't know if maybe they just didn't make it work right, but it did not do what was intended. And it kind of made Shark and Hoon kind of lose out there. So I don't think it's exactly over for BTK. I think it's definitely back to the drawing board. I think now they know what they are up against. But overall, I just think C9 kind of won in all positions. From jungle, we were wondering about the off lanes. Nats was given work to Fried Chicken in the early game. We might have not had the camera on it, but I was watching the mini map, and Fried Chicken's health bar was consistently low. I think they need to think about giving, I don't know if they can give that R-Lot over to Nats. It is a monstrous pick in his hands.
Yeah, we got to see what how Chicken responds in game number 2. I mean, I'm right there with you. This is not a team where it's like this is the entire story for each round. They're going to adjust, right? They're only going to get better. They know how to scale through the times and adapt. And Bloodthirsty Kings, if any team can pull that off, they definitely can. And I don't like seeing a one-sided story. I don't like seeing 4 wins in a row. I like seeing an even blend of competition.
Go back and forth.
Right, that's what we want, back and forth, like a match of ping pong. And so I feel in game number 2, they need to find a way to allow Zane to get the farm he needs, right? They need to find a way to get those turtles, a way for him to get his orange and purple buffs. Does that start with Chicken in the XP lane, trying to find a way to create that opportunity with Nats on his tails? Maybe so. Is there a way they can delay Basic? If Basic's not in these team fights, they need to be winning these team fights. If Basic is split pushing and they're not going to win the team fights, then stop Basic from split pushing.
Yeah, so that's the thing, right? Does Zia just stay with Basic the whole time? Does he stay in that lane? Does he need to be glue on Basic, or does he get involved? Because right now it does feel like C9's Basic has a lot of confidence in his team that he can leave them and they can at least hang out with all 5 of BTK. And even if they don't get the turtle, they buy enough time and they don't lose any members so that Basic finds something in the off lane. We know that's a strategy, like you said, that's a strategy that Basic likes to take, especially early to mid game. He doesn't get too involved in team fights. He's always looking for off lanes. So BTK either needs to call on that, or they need to win some of these 5v4s when it comes to the turtle.
100%. There's no in the middle. It has to be one or the other, especially up against Cloud9 right now, because, man, that was an amazing performance. That was a great debut for game number 1. Speaking of games, though, we are going to be jumping into the draft for the second match of the day, the highly anticipated match everybody has been waiting to see. Cloud9, 1 point ahead, which means they're sitting in that number 1 position technically. Can we see? You know what? Every time we see these powerhouse teams face off, though, it has always been back and forth. So, you know, we'll put this one in BTK's favor.
Kind of surprised they banned the Fanny. For me, it feels a little questionable. I mean, yes, it's good, but I don't know if it's like it right now. I think the Ling is very viable. Hayabusa and Nolan both still open. That R-Lot's still open. And if I'm BTK, I'm thinking, I kind of want the R-Lot. But C9 knows that. So it's like, maybe we give him something else. Maybe we force a trade here. This time, they're taking a lot more time on these bans. It's not as a quick fire and draw as last game. They're definitely thinking about this now. BTK knows what they're up against. C9 knows what they're up against.
Yeah, I mean, even Mathilda's open, so does BTK ban that out? Do they allow it to walk? I mean, that's still a strong comp for Cloud9 to kind of profit on. It's just a very shaky time when it comes to drafting and trying to ban everything out. You can't ban everything out. There's just so much on the table. But there's a direct response right there from Cloud9. They're going to go ahead and take down that alpha away from Zayn. I think they just want him to run that Bane. They're trying to get him on more comfortable picks that they're used to going against. There's the Ruby pickup, though, from the side of BTK. Still can be flexed. Typically, we see it in the gold lane. This allows Edith to be picked up over there by C9. I wonder if they're going to take that away from Chicken. We'll have to see. But right now, yeah, it's definitely going to be back to the drawing boards. We're not going to see the same game plan from game number 1 like we mentioned. We're going to see BTK adjust and adapt through the times. There's that Mathilda we were looking for. So now, sustainability will work in Cloud9's favor.
I think we see that Arlock get picked up here by C9. It's just so good in Nat's hands. They get the Matilda here. Maybe they go for something else, but BTK with the Ruby pickup up front. I'm wondering if they're going to go for something we saw last week where they put Zia on a fighter in the gold lane and maybe give Mobazane something like the Roger, maybe give him something a bit more quick moving, maybe completely just switch up here. C9 on the other hand instead go for the Vexana, so taking a very different approach. I mean, a very different draft than last game, and like I said, this is a format where it leaves a lot of breathing room for these types of drafts where you can have some fun, you can test different things. You're even BTK, it's not a best of 3 where you're just going to get knocked out if you lose this game. Everything's not on the line right here. You have 4 games to put points on the board. There is no the match winning point here. There's no match point. So we are going to see Mobazane on the Julian though. Arlott does get picked up by Fried Chicken, so they take that away. So now we're just wondering, is this Ruby going to be in Shark's hand, or will they go fighter off lanes?
Oh man, picking up that Julian this early. This is interesting, right? I mean, I honestly would have probably went the Roger route like you mentioned. I like the Roger when you have the Ruby in the gold lane. I think it's just a little bit safer. You are going to see Cloud9 though, similar to game number 1, best player. Hey, he did it once, why not again? He is going to pick up that Nolan. Now they are, I say, lacking a little bit in the crowd control. Yeah, they got the Eternal Guard over there by the Vexana, but I feel like they need a little bit more additional CC, and that should be able to be made up inside of the XP lane. You know who's still available? Hylos is still on the table. Ooh. If they do want to pick that up. We have yet to see it.
A big chance it could get banned out here. Especially since Nat still has an open EXP lane here. Big chance BTK might ban it out. Maybe they won't. Maybe they have a plan for it. Maybe Fried Chicken feels comfortable against it. I wouldn't personally feel comfortable against it, especially with a composition like Matilda and Nolan on the field where you're just going to get this Highland and Hylos and high horsepower moving around the map, you know. It's definitely a scary pick to add to C9's composition right now. They already have damage with best player, decent damage with Mark Cutie on this Vexana. C9 is on the ban though right now. I do have one possibility. What if the Julian goes mid?
I mean,
we saw it a little bit in the past. We haven't seen it in a bit, but it's a possibility. It could be the wild card.
It really could. I mean, it's been flexed in the past. Yeah, we'll have to see. There goes that Khalid ban out though. They were watching Nats from last week. Just dominating. So we'll have to see how this Julian kind of steps into that. Will it be a jungle Julian? Can it be flex? If it is flex, I feel like it may be a little bit of a gamble just because it hasn't really been tested as much in today's day and age as what me and you have seen in the past with previous NACTs. Now for the side of Cloud9, they've got some options for that XP lane. A lot is open. You know who else is out there? Terizla. I was just about to say that. Dang, you beat me to the punch. Even though Terizla got a little bit of a nerf, he is still a problem. Even though you're not playing him for necessarily damage, you're playing him for utility, right? He has the anti-CC. He has that penalty zone to be able to drop down and give some massive setups. And we saw that last weekend for round 1. So I think that's a wise decision from the side of Cloud9. Honestly, right now, I'm kind of favoring their draft a little bit more. We have to see how BTK closes this draft out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot on the line for BTK here. I think if this game goes to C9, it could definitely be a downhill slope. Momentum is definitely going to be important. Morale is going to be important. And as we saw, C9, they're hanging out together, man. When you're in a room together and you win a game, you're feeling yourselves. And that's just going to keep on going up. So they're feeling good. They pick up the Terizla, going to be great on Nats here. You have some nice engage. You have a great diver behind Cold World as well. BTK round things out with the Yve and the Edith. So it is the gold lane Ruby most likely here. Maybe Edith, Rome, Fried Chicken, Arlott.
I would love to see it, but I think right now I like Cloud9's draft a little bit better because even with the Eve, there's some answers, right? Not only is Cold World running on this Mathilda, he can do the Mathilda Airlines, the Circling Eagle, bring somebody with him while Eve is stationary with that real world manipulation. Not to mention, basic. He just picked that last moment Claude, so he has the BMI to be able to get out to safety, to be able to extend that distance away. And then you have Nats who can just jump in to the Eve, wait for that manipulation to drop down, which means Hoon is going to have some excellent placement to be able to provide that utility and slow that the team is going to be looking for, especially in this early phase. But with round number 2 on the way, let us know your guys' thoughts on who you think won this draft and which way you think this round is going to go.
It's definitely going to be a big question as we jump in to game number 2. Can BTK put a point on the map and even things out? Or will C9 continue their climb right now? It's definitely a lot on the line, and BTK brings a very interesting draft to the field. How are we feeling about it?
Oh man, honestly, I don't really like it too much with the Julian jungle pickups from Zane.
There's the damage.
Yeah, the damage is a little what I'm kind of looking at seeing. Best player, we saw how the Nolan affected BTK. Not to mention, they need to make sure they stop Cloud9 from taking these objectives. It's very imperative because Cold World has Mathilda. If you let that Mathilda scale, those heals are going to be very hard to deal with, and they're going to be able to close that distance on BTK with no problem.
Oh, sorry, that was a lot of damage on a Hoon there.
Yeah, he quickly got
sent back
down.
again. Oops, sorry. If
No, you're
Hoon
good.
gets sent back again, this is becoming a problem. For a second, I felt like they finally won on wave clear this in game number 2, and then they stuck around in that mid lane, let Mark Cutie and Cold World get the jump on them. And now, once again, BTK is going to be a little bit behind in this laning phase in terms of rotation. And Cold World and Mark Cutie, they know the objective. They're gonna move, man. Cold World's going to make his way up. They're going to keep tabs. One thing that BTK does have going is they do seem to have a decent river control. Overall, it's not too pushed in like it was last game, because last game, Cold World and Mark Cutie...
Oh! Massive kill. Who takes down Cold World over there by Sharp with that amazing knock-up. First blood for BTK.
Okay, hopefully that means we got us a series. Hopefully that means we got us a game. Big fracture from best player, though. BTK looking for plays. Fried Chicken versus Nats. This is the match everyone's been waiting for. Last time Nats seemed to have the advantage. Can Fried Chicken turn the tables this time?
Yeah, I mean, right now, like we said, BTK is known to kind of turn the tables back in their favor. I'm hoping for a match of ping pong where they're able to kind of even out the scoreboard. You don't want to see a one-sided story, but Cloud9, eyes on the prize, focusing on the turtle pit, may be able to take this away. Best player with direction play, and now the clash on the way. Final slash does not hit the mark. Nas rushing in with the execution strike onto Shark. One more hit. Not able to close the distance. Maybe punish. No, he does get it. Shark falls. Chicken. Now at a deficit of numbers. 3v1. Circling Eagle disengages, but Cold World locks on with the kill.
Another one. 2-1 turtle into the hands of Cloud9. BTK falling behind. Once again, it's 3 minutes in, and look at the gold plating. It's going to go into Nat's hand right here. White Chicken not going to be able to make it up there for at least another 3 to 5 seconds. Taking a look at these items. Nothing too crazy. Nats is going right into damage here. Looks like he may be working into... Is there going to be an endless battle there? As his first item, did pick up the tough boots. Going to be a little bit reliable against some of the CC that the Ruby or the Arlot might bring to the table. But luckily, Mobazane hasn't died. I think what he needs to do... He's no longer a Fredrin, man. He's no longer a big tanky jungle. He doesn't always have to be the first one to engage on these objectives. If you watch the way best player takes it sometimes, he looks for angles, he waits for his time to come in, so he lets the other team sometimes start the objective. And I think that's where Mobazane needs to get his headspace at.
Yeah, definitely need to find a way to get that farm and turn this back in his favor. Even though he didn't fall, it still could be promising to shift the momentum on BTK's side. But right now, Cloud9, with that turtle, with the kills being in their favor, they are going to have to watch out. Still keeping an eye on Basic. I mean, now he's going up against a Ruby. Ruby who's sustainable, but Basic who definitely can apply that late game damage if you let him scale. And if they keep getting these objectives, we're going to start seeing that BMI, that Blazing Duet, hit like a truck once he gets those core items. I got to see how it goes. Right now, BTK, they need to do something to turn this tide.
Ooh, a lot of damage on a Hoon there.
Ooh, manipulation dropping down. Best player in the mid lane, forced to go back and recall. Turtle available with best player out of position. Won't be able to get the retro play. Zane does spot this out. Wastes no time on this objective, but that's trying to delay him. Into the penalty zone, and the execution strike chicken forced to engage. Nat saved by Cold World. Pull back to safety, buys him the time needed. Best player is now in the turtle pit. Distance for retribution. He gets Shark. The Zane gets the turtle. Nat will fall. Zane able to claim that kill as well. They have found the opportunity they were looking for.
Okay, BTK needed that. Zane able to not only get a kill, but also get the turtle, spiking them back up, lowering that gold deficit. They find an orange buff as well. They steal it away. This is huge for BTK. Keeps them in the game. It was looking a little sketchy there for a second. Hoon did just get the book in, able to get an item in, also has a kill. And the Eve is going to start doing a bit more damage. It's going to start being a bit more reliable. And once BTK is able to kind of clump up as a 5-man, the RWM comboed up with the Ruby is definitely a deadly combo. Zia can really hold people into that box as long as possible. So a lot of possibilities in the composition that BTK has brought. They just need to make it work.
Oh, speaking of making it work, final slash. Oh, he does drop the RWM as well. Best players able to survive both of those ultimates, which means if they decide to engage, they can definitely make it work in their favor. I do agree with you, though. Right now, Zia is definitely going to have a heavy impact when the RWM drops down, and he's doing a great job on cutting the lane against Basic. We said, does he stick on Basic like glue? How does he find a way to stop him from rotating? And right now, he's doing exactly that.
Yeah, the real, there's one thing kind of the big counter to Hoon's real world manipulation right now is going to kind of be this Matilda. Cold World's going to be able to get people out of there quickly. So it was a little bit of a surprise to see it picked up so late in the draft after the Matilda was kind of already locked in. So they have to kind of think of that, right? It's going to be a little bit tougher to keep Cloud9 in the box where they want to fight. But BTK doesn't care. They're finding towers on the map. They're kind of moving as a unit now. And that's when I think BTK is going to play at their best, when they are together, when they are working as a team, especially because Cloud9 likes to kind of keep things spread out. They like to attack from multiple different faces. So BTK needs to take advantage of that and look for the pickoffs. Look for the one person kind of hanging out in the off lane, kind of like how Nats is getting pushed back. Mobazane should be able to get another turtle here. Let's see what BTK can do with it.
Yeah, Zia rushing in, hit with the BMI, gonna chunk him down to 50% HP, circling Eagle in, locked for a kill. Marcuti able to deal the final touches. Down goes Zia. Not able to take the turret though, so I mean it was a kill, but at what cost? You are looking at BTK still leading in terms of the map and able to take 2 turtles to 1, which means they have found a way to gain control of this game compared to number 1.
Yeah, they definitely have found, they found some control. They found a gold lead. Cloud9, though, is going to hit a power spike very soon. Base is going to get that second, third item locked in around 8 minutes, 9 minutes. Wait!
Ooh, big final slash for the knockup. Nats to get out of there. Execution strike trying to negate the CC, but the damage is still there. Able to keep him alive. Cold World with the last minute save, but Marquis, man, has been left behind. He does fall, and the turret drops alongside him. Mid as well, BTK climbing on the objectives.
Yeah, getting this mid is huge, especially since Best Player was able to take that tier 3 on the top side. Best Player looks for the trade, does find it, but now the trade still falls into the hands of BTK, seeing as they find the tier 3 in the middle there. BTK now finding more map control, more purchase on what they're trying to grab here. Gonna look for another orange buff, and I think BTK just needs to keep up this pressure.
Yeah, and right now, circling Eagle again, not going to really be able to do anything there, trying to deal some chip damage. Right now, BTK is at a massive advantage. I mean, you're seeing some of the items pop up on the board right now, just scaling through the times.
All right, so Basic just got the Golden Staff locked in. He's got the DHS. Next thing's going to be the Corrosion Scythe. At this point, Basic can still do a good chunk of damage. In another minute or two, or another 2 or 3 minutes, he'll be doing even more. And I think that's going to be the time that Cloud9 really wants to try to capitalize on some team fights. So we're just kind of waiting at this point, right? We're biding a little bit more time. White Chicken, a little bit of trouble. Basic getting some chunk down. We'll be able to get away from there. Cloud9, as long as they don't lose too much, they are still very much in this game.
Yeah, still in the game. Zane, though, will clear the turret on the top side to open up the map even more in BTK's favor. I think this is going to be a longer game than expected, right? This is going to go down to whoever makes a mistake in the end game. I feel like C9, even though they're losing these turrets right now, it's going to be BTK trying to close it out where I feel like they're going to kind of struggle. But we'll see. We are looking at the Lord in play. Mobile Zane in position to claim it. Basic claiming a turtle off screen. For turret off screen. Zane able to get the Lord. Both sides fighting out though. Airborne knockup on the chicken. A lot of crowd control not working in his favor. Nats able to shut him down. Zia in the heart of the battle. Takes some hits himself. Nats does rush to get on the Hoon. But Hoon will find him forced to use the RWM.
Look at boss side though. Basic cleaning up. Cloud9 always finding trades. It's something they do so well at. Bloodthirsty Kings though, they get that Lord. They get a lot of that trade. They find Nats. They're able to push in, put more pressure on orange buff side for Cloud9. Cloud9 does not go unchecked. Best player down. Zia starting to output some damage as well. The composition is rounding out for BTK.
That was a little risky for best player. I mean, look how far he was from everybody else. I mean, I know you're running on this Nolan, right? You have the burst potential, but is it worth it? Right? I mean, there's a Lord pushing on the top side. Now you have to wait to spawn back in, and this is a potential for them to crack open the base up against Cloud9.
I feel like both teams are making a few overextensions here, but are making up for it in other places. Fried Chicken in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, in some trouble with the Lord on the double on the top side. Makes its way to the inhibitor, circling Eagle all the way from Cold World. A little bit of utility wasted. But right now, Cloud9 able to put on that pressure. They lose their tier 2 turret for the mid and the top side. Still holding on to the bottom and still holding on to their inhibitors. Right now, BTK with a slight lead.
Yeah, honestly, Cloud9 has beautiful siege defense here, right? You have base, you have the marksman who can shred down a Lord. You have that Eternal Guardian that can really drop down on some people when they try to come through the bottleneck of the towers. You have a lot of answers to people trying to come into your base. So Bloodthirsty Kings, I don't think they're going to be able to just walk in. I think they're going to need to look for the pick or two, right? They're going to need to take out a player or two before they can really encroach. And as long as Cloud9 can kind of not lose anybody, they can hang on in this fight. So it's really a battle of will here, and who's going to be able to find that game-winning moment? Can BTK take out a member or two so they can get the big base rush? Can Cloud9 hold out and buy themselves enough time till Basic can just shred everyone down?
Well, that's the question, Basic, right? Is he going to actually go in for these team fights right now? I mean, we're pretty much in a position where Cloud9 can still turn this around. Does he go in for the team fights, or does he try and get the sneaky play and take some turrets? This is where Basic kind of separates himself from a lot of majority of the marksmen. Even, you know, in the international tournaments we've seen, he likes to go in for that split push. You look at him right now. Look where he's at. He's on the top side. I think he's going to possibly go in for that. So we're going to be keeping a close eye on his rotations, especially for these next engagements. They're going to be crucial right now. 15 seconds until the next Lord spawns in.
Ooh, Zia able to get a nice grab. Best player might be in trouble.
Ooh, I think he's good, though. He's able to get out of there. Cold World with the distraction of the circling Eagle.
No.
Nope, looks like he got caught.
Nah, fam.
They're going to drop everything they got on him. I mean, without the retribution, it's a possible free play. But look at Basic. I just talked about this split push on the top side. He's not with the team. He's not engaging. He's just trying to go in and open up this map even more in their favor for a potential closeout.
Is it worth it, Weezy? Like, that's my question, right? Wait a second, a little bit of damage on Zia here.
Yeah, circling Eagle for a means of escape. No, Cold World dives back in. A lot of damage going in from both sides. Zia might play the duet combination. Zia will find Mark Cutie, able to take down another member of Cloud9. They definitely don't have the numbers to work in their favor. This is a chance for BTK to claim this Lord.
Here's the thing, right? Where the Ruby is really coming in clutch here is normally Nats has a very clear objective, right? It's like, I go for the gold lane, I go for the mage, maybe I go for the jungler if I see him, but there is no gold laner to go for right now, right? There's a lot of bulky boys sitting in the front line, and Nats does not have a clear target. And even if he does lock on to Hoon, Hoon has the passive shield if he wants to proc the RWM. He has Zia and Fried Chicken kind of peeling for him, kiting for him, and you're immediately getting locked up whenever you try to engage. So it's hard for Nats. Same thing for Cold World. If he tries to dive in, he's getting locked up by the scythe. So it's an issue that Cloud9 has to find an answer to with Lord marching down.
And they need to find that answer fast. As the inhibitor for the mid lane does fall, Hoon will be the one to kind of take that in their favor. Right now, 5 versus 5. Do they go in and try and do some damage on the base? Because I feel like they don't have the opportunity. It is going to be bursted down. Forced out of the base, but Nat is going to grab all 4 members of BTK in the Battlefront. Zane finds Basic, Zia finds Nats. A little bit of an over-engagement and overextension could be costly. the bloodthirsty King, wasting no time. Best player falls. Shark shuts him down, and Zane to finish with the triple kill. Down goes the base Crystal, and BTK claims game number 2 against Cloud9.
Is this not what we've been waiting for? It's 1-1 BTK up against Cloud9, second week of the season. And I'm sure there was a lot of people wondering what was going on with BTK in game number 1. Well, they just showed you they were ready for game 2, and they did it the same way Cloud9 did them in game 1. They took it with a very clean fashion. Now it's a game. Now it looks like we could go the long haul, and this is what we wanted. Overall, I gotta say, MLBB and the Julian was very clean. He had the support he needed. He was able to output the damage. Zia as well on the Ruby. Started really outputting, I would say, but 5-0 and 6. MLBB, Julian, Assassin. How we feeling about it?
Oh, man, I know the crowd is going wild. Like I said, I like a match of ping pong. I'd like to see it be a little bit more of an even setup, and that's what we're seeing today. BTK went back to the drawing board, and they found an answer for Cloud9, and now Cloud9 has to do the same exact thing. Do they have that in them to be able to turn this back around and have the momentum boost for this series? Both of them tied 1-1, which means they're sitting in that number 1 position still with an even matchup. Now, we asked the question about Basic, right? Split pushing that late in the game instead of team fighting. I mean, he didn't have a single kill on this Claude, and this is technically late game Claude, right? He had everything he needed to be able to dish out that damage. Yeah, they were slightly behind in the turrets, but I feel like if he could have just played a little bit more with the team, it could have tipped the scales a little bit easier to win those team fights. But instead, trying to take the turrets, I feel like it's a little hard when it gets to those situations. But it's starting to become a little bit of a repetitive pattern. I think maybe for game number 3, if he's in that situation, try the team fight. See how that goes and see if it makes a difference. Because right now, every time that split push goes out, it just doesn't really seem to work in his favor.
It's tough, and I mean, don't get me wrong, Claude is a shredder, but he is not the shredder, so it is a tough position, and you know, there's not really much excuse for communication, right? They're all in the same room, so I got to think that the whole team was okay with what he was doing, right? I don't think it was just like a Basic making a basic move in general. I think that was the idea. They also had a very tough time engaging on the composition of BTK. So what could he really do in those team fights? I think maybe they needed a bit more time. But I don't know, man. It's a hard call to make. But overall, MLBB MVP on the Julian. Now, I was reading the chat a bit. People were not happy with the Julian pick, but MLBB showed up on it this game, 5-0 and 6.
Look at him just smiling at the chat right now, letting them know. That's my Julian. He's letting them know.
This ain't just anybody's Julian.
That's Zane's Julian. 1-1 on the scoreboard. You'd love to see it. You never know which way it's going to go, and that just shows you that North America's in great hands with some of these hot prospects in this NACT fall season.
I got to say, another big thing is we saw in the last game, Mark Cutie and Cold World had control of the mid lane, and they just had pressure on BTK's side of the river the whole time. This time, Shark and Hoon step up their game a bit. They get that, remember that first pickoff? Shark got the big knock-up. The flicker, he was in the mid-river bush, flickers to enemy jungle bush, gets that first pickoff, and we immediately see them kind of reverse that pressure, and I think that's going to be kind of what we need to watch out for in these next 2 games. Who has river control in those first 4 minutes, right? Who's pushing into the enemy jungle in those first few minutes? And it felt like BTK was doing. They were able to steal an orange buff early on. They were able to do a lot in those first few minutes. And I think whoever's able to apply that pressure could maybe end up just being the winner of the game.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the tank mage synergy is very impactful, and it showcases with today's series. And you are right. It's whoever can get to the punch a little bit faster and who can be more as a collective hype mentality to pull off that synergy. And right now, I mean, we saw both teams are capable of doing it, but who can do it more fluid, right? Who can be more consistent in these rounds yet to come? And I think right now, with it being even, I love what I'm seeing. High hero pool, 3-dimensional drafting. I think even when Zane pulls out something like the Julian and everybody's doubting him, he shows the world that, hey, I have a plan, and the plan shows to work. So we're just letting the pros be the pros, and we're here to witness the greatness. And right now, greatness is in the making between these 2 teams. Oh,
the greatness. I love the great. You know, M6, we're great again. I love it. You know, all that good stuff. North American Challenge Tournament, who's going to be the greatest here in NA? And right now, we're looking at possibly one of those 2 teams. We'll see how things unfold throughout the rest of the season, but it's 1-1. And You know, we talked a bit about, we've been talking a lot about Marcuity, Cold World, Hoon, Shark. This time, we mentioned EXP lane in the very beginning before this series started, and Nats kind of gave Fried Chicken the business in game number 1. But this time, Fried Chicken responded, man, and I'm at a point where I'm wondering, do we think it's just hero matchup? Like, is one of them clearly better than the other, or is it gonna all come to who gets what in the draft? Because it's kind of feeling draft when it comes to these two players. Last time the R-Lot went to Nats, he was given work. This time, Fried Chicken gets the R-Lot, and he was putting in work.
It's hard because, honestly, I feel like both of them are doing what they're supposed to do in the XP lane. I feel like it's the tank mage synergy that's kind of having a heavy swing on how they perform over there. Being able to gank, being able to get those turtles is what is being more of the difference. Like Zayn being invaded on his jungle, I feel like is what kind of led to C9 winning in the XP lane in game number 1. But with game number 2 with the Julian, we didn't see too many invasions. And not too many times we saw Zayn not able to get his orange, his purple buff. So you didn't really see Chicken struggle too much in that lane when Zayn was comfortable thriving. So I think tank mage synergy is what really kind of dictates that, at least for these two teams. Speaking of these two teams, we are now jumping into game number 3. An even trade for both sides, 1-1 in this series.
I just want to say this right now, the meta is so refreshing, man. It is like I feel like every draft we've seen different things. Every ban phase we've seen at least one hero change. This time we're going to see the Ruby on the side of C9, so none of that for BTK. And it doesn't feel game ruining to ban something a little off in game number 2 or 3, right? It doesn't seem game ruining to not pick a certain hero in the first 3 choices, right? And that's normally how it's been for the past several years. And this time, things definitely feel very open on both of these teams. C9 are on blue side with the R-Lot open. I definitely think they favor that. They're going to pick it up, put it into the hands of Nats. How does BTK respond? They have to change it up from what they did in game 1.
Oh, the R-Lot is such a strong pick. We've seen it it's been pretty much the deciding factor on which team wins. I mean, every side the R-Lot's on, the winner prevails. So I think it's a good read from the side of Cloud9. Still can be flexed if they do want to put it in the wrong position. That's okay. But now Chicken has to decide how he wants to respond. Usually BTK, we see them kind of prioritize Chicken, right? The Edith is still on the table. Does he go in for that? Is that something he wants to let up for grabs? The Mathilda, again, is a potential pickup. We got to see Cloud9 perform on the Mathilda, but we haven't got to see BTK do it yet. There goes that Valentina, though. A little early for Valentina, but yeah, again, it's a good take because it can profit off the final slash. It also provides some draft pressure. There goes that Edith we were talking about for the XP lane matchup, and I think it's a good read.
I think the Valentina, yes, the Valentina could be early, but also I think it's really good against Cloud9, especially in this position. Last game, BTK banned out the Valentina because they didn't want Marcuity to have it. This time, they know they can't ban it, so they go for the trade more. Fine, you get the R-Lot, but we're going to steal Marcuity's Valentina, make sure he can't play that, but Marcuity brings in... I'm having a mind blank. The Lu Yi, thank you, Weez. I wouldn't know what I'd do without you. Brings in the Lu Yi, which was a hero that was so meta last year we barely ever saw it, but this time it's got a more stable pick rate. It's getting picked sometimes it's not, but it definitely brings a very different dimension to the game.
Julian is picked up this time on the side of Cloud9, taking that away from MOBA Zayn. Zayn can still run the Bane though. I mean, it's
or the Nolan.
Yeah, he could run the Nolan too, and he has run the Nolan previously. So I think nonetheless he should be comfortable whichever way it goes. He can still run a Roger if you really wanted to. There goes the tick pickup though. So they are going to have some great crowd control. Not only do they have the Valentina to be able to use the IMU, can take away the diversion over there from the Lu Yi, can take the final slash, but then you also have a Tig to make up for it with the crowd control on top of that. So right now it's good. There's not a jungler yet right now for the side of BTK. We're yet to see what Zayn is going to pull to the table for game number 3.
Yeah, C9's not going to give Zayn that many options, I will tell you that. The fact that if Zayn doesn't pick jungle in first 3 picks, it is getting targeted down on. There goes the Bane. Up next, big chance they might ban out the Nolan, something of that nature. We do see the Claude get banned out, so also basic, losing some options. BTK will have first pick next, and I honestly don't think that... I think there's a big chance we don't see them pick up Zayn first. I think they go for gold lane first, especially since they also haven't picked up their gold lane. Maybe they slot Zia with the Harith and leave basic with not many other choices, right? Alice is still out there, actually. Zia might pick Alice, and MOBA Zayn might go something like the Roger, like you said, like something damaging. I think that could end up being the play here.
Moskov is slept on too. I feel like the Moskov can still be slotted. A lot of teams have been overlooking him recently in this NACT. But yeah, I definitely think the gold lane prow is a wise opportunity. There's no reason to slot in Zane right here. I mean, I guess you could if you still want to kind of read the draft, but I feel like saving that for the last pick could be a wise decision. Now, I'm looking at crowd control, still leaning heavily for the side of Cloud9. You have the Yin Yang overturn over there, the duality from this Lu Yi, and it profits massively with the Astro's Eye over there from this R-Lot to be able to get those sets, right? He's going to be able to dash in multiple times as long as you can hit that CC chain. So it's a good look over there for this R-Lot. Now, how do we see BTK respond, right? You see a Tig. He can be aggressive, but you can't really rush in to a Lu Yi like that. It's not that easy, right? You're going to get hit once, then twice, then you're going to get stopped in your tracks. So this is going to force Shark to be a little bit more selective on the angles he hits these implosion plays.
Listen, this ain't, no offense, but this ain't no Tara Tig reel right here. This is a Shark Tig reel. We're going to see some flicker implosions. You know, I will say this Tigreal will have a way to get in. Mobazane is going to pick up the Noland here. They do not prio the gold lane. Going to let Zia get the final pick, the possible counter pick. C9, what do they go for? Like we said, we have the Harith open. We have the Alice open. The Lunox got banned out. We have the Moskov. Plenty of options here. C9 going to go for the carry.
Oh, okay. Spicy. It's a little interesting. The carry definitely can soak into the Tigreal, the Edith. You have to watch out for that Nolan, though. If he closes that distance, he is going to burst down that carry like it's nobody's business. But if C9 can scale, then that's when the carry will kind of profit. Now, with the carry, though, this means that Basic's not going to be able to split push like we've been seeing, right? Carry is nowhere near as mobile as that Clot. So if you see him on the opposite side of the map, you're going to see a quick conceal and a quick kill going into BTK's favor. So this is probably going to be Basic being more team fight oriented and trying to scale in his actual lane and get ready for the engagements.
It's C9 telling Basic, listen, you're with us this game, okay? You're gonna stay right here this game. Ain't none of that running around the map stuff. And there goes that Alice pick from Zia. So I think I like this, man. I think Mobazane feels comfortable with a nice box around him. You mix that in with Hoon on this Valentina as well. It's aggressive. It is definitely in your face. It is divey. It is what BTK wants. Cloud9 once again taking the more around the map angle here, man. Their composition scene, it's like we have two very different playstyles from both these teams. BTK wants to regularly kind of stick together, look for these big clumped up fights, where Cloud9 wants to regularly look for angles, look for range, have players around the map, look for teleports. Cold World on the Cho and now Basic on this carry. I like it. It's going to definitely be a battle of who comes out on top.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to be finding out today. Both of these teams even on the scoreboard for our final series of the day. The powerhouse teams of North America sitting in that #1 position. The Bloodthirsty Kings up against Cloud9.
All right, so let's give the breakdown real quick, because we talked about the carry being a little bit short range, and I think there's more to risk than just the Noland on this carry. Pretty much, if he gets close to anyone, it makes the Tigreal's job a little bit easier too, we could say, because we were wondering how he's going to get in. He doesn't have as much of a distance to close at this point, so I think what's big for Cloud9 is don't get too clumped up at any points. Find those angles that you're looking for. Let Cold World try to get these pickoffs and use those teleports to the best of your ability. That is going to be huge. And BTK wants to look for the big 4 or 5 man fights as soon as possible. I'm talking second, third turtle. Try to get everyone together. Try to look for those invades. Put as much pressure down as possible.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to be looking for. Has Zane going to go in for that purple buff? You saw a little bit of a possible invasion, but they decided to disengage. A wise decision. Now, what does Hoon do, right? Does Hoon pick up the diversion over there from this Lu Yi to be able to teleport across the map? Or does he go for a little bit more of an aggressive ultimate, like the final slash, especially for this turtle that is going to be popping up?
Here we go again. Fried Chicken versus Nats. This is what we saw in game 1, and Nats got the upper hand. Fried Chicken in trouble. Cold World coming in. G-Kondo, the knockup. Fried Chicken just able to get away. Shark there in time. That was a close call for Fried Chicken. He knows how to test his limits.
He didn't go back, though. He's waiting. He's just going to continue to rotate around. Definitely showcases his comfortability on this Edith. We talked about Fried Chicken on the Edith, too. It's a comfort pick that he often either chooses to run or flexes it over to Shark. This time Shark, though, is going to be running the TIG. He's going to showcase to the world the proper way to get these sets on the implosion. But we're going to have to see, like we mentioned, he has to hit angles, right? You're running up against a Lu Yi who has an easier way to kind of hit him with that chain CC. Now, with the turtle spawning in, who will be able to claim this one? Game 1, Cloud9 was on fire. They were able to find a way to stop BTK from these neutral objectives. But Game 2, it was a totally different story. And here we are for game number 3.
Oh. Big diversion comes in, able to spot C9 with the airdrop. Shark in a little bit of trouble. Hoon now moving on to Nat's best player, able to get the turtle, and Cloud9 backs off. They got the objective they came for. A well play of the diversion. I think as long as Marcuti doesn't get stingy with them, just keep using them, man. Every time you have them, use them. I think that's what's important for a lot of Lu Yi players. I think sometimes they're a little too stingy on those diversions.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask, right? How is he going to use these diversions? Is he going to be aggressive early and use them for kills, or is he going to be there for placement to make the team uncomfortable? Speaking of placement, though.
Ooh. This time, White Chicken getting the better of Nats in the top lane. I like it, man. We're wondering. Oh, the Cold World's like, not today. White Chicken goes down. This ain't a 1v1. This is a 5v5.
My man slid on him. He slid on him on the top side. Nats wasn't even phased. I think he planned the whole thing.
Very possible. Diversion might be coming. Cold World able to get repositioned, and this is where I think the diversion is really going to come in clutch. They're just going to be airdropping Cold World all around the map, so he can find the angles we've been talking about. Cloud9 holding down the game with a 1,000 gold lead right now.
Yeah, 1,000 gold lead. I mean, that's pretty decent, especially only being 3 minutes in. Implosion.
A lot of damage. Cold World bites the dust. Hoon able to get the kill, tying it up 1-1. Still 800 gold lead for Cloud9, but BTK showing they still got something.
Yeah, 1-1 with both sides tied up. I mean, you did see the first turtle go over to Cloud9, giving them a slight advantage, but BTK still on their tail. An even matchup between both of these teams. Shark, though, taking a little bit of damage. Hoon catches some as well in the mid lane. Right now, Zane, we got to see how he kind of performs on this Nolan. Look at him, ready for some burst damage. Spotted out, though, by Cold World.
Oh, the way the Dragon does connect. Cold World gets stopped in his tracks, though. The fracture locks on to Cold World. Hoon, White Chicken coming out from the backside. Cloud9 know they're there. They're going to back off. Cold World keeping tabs on. He has kept tabs this whole time. Watch for that divergent play. Around the side, Zane forced to run away. They're on the fight for the purple. Nats with the final slash. White Chicken with the primal wrath. Able to dodge back. Shark looking for Marcuti. White Chicken going to flicker in. They're going to lock down. Nats brought low. Best player taken out. Nats going to be next. White Chicken with the revenge kill. Now Zane up against Marcuti, but Marcuti gets the duality proc. He's going to pay his life for it, but that is a good trade to help save the day. Still, though, it's going to be 4-2 if Marcuti goes down here, and he's just playing with them. Marcuti still up. Marcuti still standing, finally taken out. Hoon gets the kill. It's 4-2. BTK finally finds the lead.
No, he's buying time, though. Look at the top side. Basic. Able to take all the gold plating off of that turf. Bot lane, though.
Damage. Zia should be okay. Able to dodge the enhanced chains. Able to flicker flowing blood to the side. And he keeps going. Zia on fire. Takes out best player. Nats is trying to clear the wave. Zia not done just yet. They're going to move on to this turtle now.
No, but Cloud9, they win that trade. Oh, my goodness.
I don't know if they win. Yes, they get the tower, but they lose jungler. Now they lose Nats as well. And if best player keeps falling behind, it is a good trade for BTK because Zane's gonna have the advantage when it comes to these big objectives. Best player is back on the map. Zane can get a level lead. It's gonna be huge for them. Another turtle going into the pockets of BTK.
Yeah, great turtle for their side. Cold World with the G Kondo out to safety. With that turtle secured, definitely an overall great trade for the Bloodthirsty Kings. A good read, though, from Basic on the top side, making the most out of the situation, at least able to find a trade-off by taking a turret. But on the bot side, they find a turret as well. So BTK still leading the way with a minor advantage.
Yeah, CD9's got to think about it, right? And Basic, he hasn't taken a death yet. He has gotten the gold lane treatment. He's been able to farm. He's gotten a bunch of gold plating, a bunch of minions. He's gotten a tower. Let's take a look at his items. He's honestly not that far ahead of Zia, though. Only 300 gold or 350 gold, 400 gold. He's got a second item locked in. This is where we saw him at last game when we were wondering when he was going to get involved. And look at the damage! Best player taking out the pick potential from BTK right now. But Cold World looking for a pick of his own with the way of the Dragon. Unable to lock onto MLBB though. MLBB still gets back, and now it's the response. NACT goes down. BTK on the chase. Marcuti gonna be next. Cold World falls as well. It's a 4-man wipeout along with a tier 3 in the mid side. They want to turn it into a tier 2. BTK not stopping.
Yeah, Basic with the split push on the bot side is able to take that turret. But the mid falls, which means BTK will have an easier time invading onto the side of Cloud9, which is going to push them even further back on their side of the map. You're going to see Blade of Heptases picked up by MLBB for some initial burst damage upon contact, which is something they're going to have to watch out for as well. I mean, you've seen the burst potential, right? Zane just bursted down. Best player. Off to a rough start on this Julian. 0-3-0. Highest kills in the game right now is going to go to Hoon on this Valentina. You know, he locked it in early. We said, was it a little too early? Looks like it wasn't, as Hoon is profiting and kind of dominating a mid lane menace in the making for game number 3.
Yeah, I think the Valentina pick was so clutch to take from Marcuti. Marcuti really thrives on these aggressive, highly mobile mages, wants to be able to get in your face, wants to be able to output damage, and honestly, something as slow moving as the Lu Yi, yes, it has that divergent, but there's no dashes in that kit, right? There's no finding those angles in that kit other than teleporting, and that's only coming every minute or so. So I think right now, that's where they're kind of falling down, and I talked about in the very beginning, the mid lane is going to be crucial in this matchup. Marcuti and Cold World up against Hoon and Shark, and right now Hoon and Shark are making the plays happen.
Yeah, the mid lane tank matchup, the synergy is what's going to make the difference between both of these teams. In BTK, like game number 2, it seemed like it's the same story for game number 3. We need to see Cold World get a little bit more setups. Marcuti find a diversion play to keep BTK on their toes, pressure them across the map, maybe even help Basic split push at this point. But right now, BTK, they're comfortable, right? They're invading very heavily by taking that turret in the mid lane and may be able to take a tier 2 if Basic and NACT are not careful.
They're going to look for the repositioning. They'd hit the diversion into the bottom side, look for the pick onto Zia, but that's going to be a hard gold laner to kill. They're like, wait, no. That's an Alice, 206, 9 minutes in. I don't even know if all of us can take that down. You have the flowing blood as well to be able to flicker back. I mean, and this just goes, man, Zia has improved so much. I just can't stop saying it enough. Zia, man, from gold lane, now picking up fighters in the gold lane, just has really become one of my favorite players in NA overall. Has really become a monster and is just showing so much on the field in the Land of Dawn.
Yeah, I mean, he showcased that Alice in their debut up against Gosu Nighthorde and dominated with it. And now, maybe the same situation on the opposing side of the gold lane, though. Basic yet to really showcase the team fight potential we're looking for, right? We see a lot of the split pushing, but we're yet to see him have a heavy impact. Yes, he's running on this carry. Takes a little bit more time to kind of scale and have those items necessary. He did pick up the DHS, though, so he should be able to chunk into the heavy HP pool over there by the side of BTK.
The best player, man. He's got a target on his back right now, and BTK know that they can burst him down. I think he needs to kind of play the safer route. He's starting to fall into that. Normally, best player really plays comfortable behind the lines, always coming in second or third or even fourth into these fights. And it feels like maybe he's in the front a little bit too much on this Julian.
Well, speaking of the front, Basic now in the team fight, full 5v5 on the way. Lord, very low.
Yeah, MLBB ain't able to take the lore, but the fight does not stop there. Big implosion, locks on, pushed back. Best player in a little bit of trouble. Able to just dash away, though. Able to survive. Cold World also misses a G-Con Do during that fight. Unable to get the big pick, and as long as they don't get those picks, they're in trouble. NACT gonna get fractured, shattered, taken out. MLBB with another kill into his pocket.
Yeah, he's racking them up right now. He's definitely doing a great job on this Nolan. Not the same story for best player, though. Not able to find that opportunity. G-Con Do and the way of the dragon.
Good kick. Basic able to strut it down. We're starting to see the damage lock in from Basic as well. Wondering if he's got, I'm sure he's got his third item locked in. Wondering what he's picking up for his fourth.
Yeah, he definitely should be scaling through this time. I'm pretty sure he picked up the golden staff already. The later this game goes, I guess it could work in Basic's favor. At least he's running a late game marksman. Not to mention they have Marcuti on this Lu Yi. Lu Yi is not the easiest mage to push into and siege the base crystals. Speaking of sieging, look at Chicken. Look at all the crowd control. Barely can move, and best player taking him down.
Yeah, they're able to get 2 pickoffs there. I mean, that's big for Cloud9. In their defense, they find Shark, they find Fried Chicken now. BTK need to kind of hit on the brakes a little bit, or else they will have the opportunity, especially in some of these tight-knit corners where Basic can just kind of hang out and fire free shots. One of my issues with the carry in this composition, let's take a look at the item. He does have the Trinity locked in. Looks like maybe we're going for Rose Gold next, or Malefic, something of that nature. Basic gets shut down on Hoon. The killing spree. That's huge. Shark in trouble as well. Another pickoff over to C9. Double kill for Basic. And if they stay tight like this, it's going to be a problem. Zia now in a little bit of trouble as well.
Let him cook.
Nats gets a lockdown. The final slash. Still untargetable. Pops the winner Trunchion, but still falls. An unstoppable kill for his Basic. He's 5-0-0. He's online right now.
Zane, if they spot out Zane, man, it would be bad, but they're going to go ahead and focus on taking this turret in the mid. A great opportunity to turn this game back around in his favor. We talked about it, right? Basic being a ticking time bomb. The way the Dragon.
Oh, that's going to be another kill. That's an easy one. Best player gets it this time.
No!
Zane trying to come in, finds Martuti, but drops for it. Best player with a double kill. That's a quick catch-up. Cloud9 back on the map. The map is looking blue. The goal deficit has decreased, and Cloud9 are back in the game.
Basic now has 5 kills on the carry. Scary carry in the making right now. Definitely going to have to keep a close eye on him. BTK, they cannot sleep on the damage that he stacked up with those core items. Speaking of BTK, now the tides have turned. He just picked up the Malefic Roar, so now he also has some physical penetration.
Able to catch Basic there. He does dash back. Pumps speedy light wheel. Basic still able to get the outplay. He's on fire. Nas takes the kill, but Basic does the damage. Hoon able to back off and look at the diverging tone from R2, able to get into the middle of the map. They're rushing down. They're looking for more towers as Lord is back on the map. This could be a big jump ahead for Cloud9.
Yeah, massive advantage. The Lord should be theirs for the taking. Winter Crown picked up by Mark Cutie as well. Tier 2 on the top side will fall. Look at the Lord quickly being burst down. The separation of responsibility from the side of Cloud9, focusing on several objectives all at the same time. A mistake, a misstep from the Bloodthirsty Kings. A major upset to be able to turn this back around in Cloud9's favor. Now, BTK is not too far out of the game yet. They just got to find a way to shut down Basic. He is stacked now. The man has every item necessary to burst down BTK. They have to find a way to isolate him and pick him off.
I don't know if there is a way. As long as so Cloud9 normally, like we've been saying, they take these wide approaches to the map. Even when we look at them right now, you look at the mini map, they're very spread out. But when it comes to these team fights, as long as they box up, which wasn't what they were doing in the beginning, but now that Basic is online, as long as they box up around him, they are good. They have the Cho, who's very similar to the Kaja combo with the carry. You lock him down for a second, you shred him, and that's pretty much what they're working here, except it's a final slash or it's a way of the dragon, and they're able to pull it off well. And here comes another way of the dragon, locking on. Basic gonna unload, final slash. Zia taken down. Lord blasting through the door. Fried Chicken looking for trouble, but Shark goes down. Best player finds another one. Nats able to take out Mobile Zane. BTK getting shredded. All they gotta do is lock on the Basic. Cloud9 take game number 3.
The comeback! Cloud9 able to make a match not in their favor, work toward a victory, shuts down the Bloodthirsty Kings and leads the way 2-1 for game number 3. Trex, man, the fans are going wild. We're going wild on the desk. What a game. BTK, they need to find answers. Cloud9 able to claim that game.
Cloud9 buy enough time and they stick in there, and once there is blood in the water, they got him, man. It was, I mean, the moment we saw Basic, the moment we saw Cloud9 just start to group up and cover Basic and find those little pickoffs, they were online, and I don't think there was a single thing BTK could have done. Zia was unable to make a big play. They lost their big damage opportunity. They didn't have enough CC. They didn't have a really way to engage past the final slash. Cloud9 stopped trying to take the dive approach and just took the onward, like, we're just gonna walk towards you guys as a unit, maybe find a little pickoff like what we saw when he just hit Zia at the end there. But overall, they didn't really split up in these team fights, and that's all they needed. Let's look at some of these items. Basic just decked out.
Yeah, he was definitely decked out over there. He was able to get full build I mean, I was wondering, right? There was a moment where he was just kind of cold. He was just sitting there, not any kills, just trying to farm, trying to get a split push. But as soon as you mentioned he started getting in these engagements, he came alive. I think that's possibly where they need to continue to thrive on, right? Keep him a little bit more active in these team fights. Yeah, you can throw a team off here and there with the split push, but you can't have that be your overall game plan for every single match. Now, back to the drawing board for the side of Bloodthirsty Kings to turn this back around in their favor. 2-1 on the scoreboard. How are we feeling?
It's 2-1. It might end up 2-2. Might be what we were all waiting for. We might see our first Game 5 of an NACT this season. It is back and forth. It is blow for blow. But right now, Cloud9 isn't only taking the lead, I think, in standings. They just made a very firm statement that we can make a comeback happen. We can fall behind. We can have our backs against the wall and still get a huge win. And I think that says a lot about Cloud9 right here. Basic is going to get the MVP, 6-0-6.
Yeah, on this carry, the scary carry with the full core build, just dominating, shredding through the frontal composition, especially with Shark on this TIG. Not able to find a way to get to him. I mean, you mentioned it even in the game. He lacks mobility, but I mean, if you have a lot of heroes that can protect him, if you provide a wall to not be able to close that distance into that backline, he's gonna thrive. And that's exactly what we've seen today.
And I really want to also give a big shout out to Cole World, man. Has played an amazing game that time. In the middle, the kick started to get a little off. He started having trouble finding it. In the beginning, he was doing great. Kind of started missing, not really able to make the engage. Once the power spike came back in for his team, he felt confident, and he started landing those Way of the Dragons back to back to back. Taking a look at these replays, this is when BTK was really in full throttle. And then the tables turn in this fight right here, maybe a little bit before this fight, but Shark goes down, Hoon goes down, Basic just hanging out in the box with the speedy light wheel, getting target after target, and there was nothing BTK could do at that point. Oh, this play right here, I thought Zia for sure was gonna get that one, and Basic comes out. Another big Way of the Dragon, the final one to seal the deal. They find Zia once more, and at that point, it's over.
Yeah, as soon as I saw them take down Zia right there, I was like, okay, they lost their push potential, they lost their ADC, and that's when I had a feeling that they were just going to be able to close it out, especially with Basic in the back line. You saw he just focused, and he didn't even go for the kills. He just went straight in for the base crystal to be able to close that out, not wasting any time. Didn't want to give BTK a chance to be able to flip that back around. Now, with that momentum swing back in their favor, they now have 2-1 on the scoreboard. There's only one game left, potentially, or what I would hope to see, what the world would love to see, is a game number 5. Guys, if BTK wins this next game, we go to a game 5. We get to see a bonus round for points. Do we see that happen? Or has Cloud9 put their pants on, strapped up the boots, and are ready to close this out?
Finish this. Do they put their boots on their neck here, man? Do they just, I mean, because that's a big moral blow, man. And that's a big confidence boost for Cloud9 there, able to come back in that game. That is huge. That is, I mean, that's a big statement. When something like that happens, when a game feels like it's in your hands. So my question now to BTK, because I think what happened there when they got to late game, Zia not being on a gold lane, right? And is the only way that Zane is going to be able to play these these real damage junglers is if Zia is on a more chunky gold laner, right? Will they be able to put Zane on something like, you know, the Julian, the Noland, on something, you know, assassin based, while Zia also plays gold? Because that might be what they need if they want to take these games the long haul.
Yeah, do they need a shredder in the gold lane, right? I mean, somebody that can kind of turn the tide when the rest can't. So, I mean, the Alice was okay. His performance was great. I mean, there was a lot of highlights that we were talking about with it, but it wasn't enough when it came to that late game, especially up against Basic on that carry. I mean, you saw it, right? I mean, he was forced to kind of rush into the front line with the Blood Oath and the Flowing Blood, and he got bursted down with the swiftness by the speedy light wheels. So, jumping into game number 4, I'm right there with you. I'm all about it. I think maybe if he goes with the Shredder Marksman, it could give a little bit of the breathing room that BTK needs to turn it back around in their favor. Cloud9, though, I mean, that was a major turnaround. That was a comeback. It didn't look like it was going to be their game. It looked like BTK was going to close that one out for sure. Honestly, it was some flawless execution from BTK for majority of that entire game. They're always a little bit faster to the objective. Zane was on fire with the Nolan, just bursting down anybody who was out of position. Best player was having a very hard time getting online with that Julian. But he wasn't able to close it out, you know? So I think maybe with the Shredder, it's a potential answer to even out this series and take us to a game number 5. For the side of Cloud9, though, I feel like this is, like you mentioned, a major momentum boost that they need to lean on if they want to close out the series.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be huge. I think at this point they definitely need some late game support. All the eggs can't just be in the bat. Like in terms of damage, it can't just all be on Mobazane. They need something else, and the Ruby worked well because Ruby can still output pretty well and kind of be someone that could stop something like a Cho, be something that can stop that dive that Cloud9 wants to bring. But I think without that, they got to have a late game opportunity, or they just really need to be able to close out, because once you don't close out and Basic does come online with a marksman, you now have no answer to that, right? There was no way they were going to get through that shred, and they lose all their late game burst damage by not having a marksman. So it's definitely a question on the table that it has to get answered in this next game, and there's only a few answers, right?
Yeah, there's only a few answers, but it's up for them to make that decision and put it on paper and put it in practice. Speaking of practice, we're now into the draft. The game is on, potential final game of the day if BTK is not careful, but also an opportunity for them to even out these 4 matches and take us to a bonus round. Now, this isn't a series in terms of best of 4, guys. This is a battle of points. Each team fighting it out to get a point per match to have the most points at the end of the season between 3 rounds for a chance to get to the top 4 in the playoffs, and I hope to see it. There goes a strong first pick, though.
Yeah.
Phoveus locked in.
Phoveus leaked into the front. Arlott still available on the field. C9 decides to go for the Edith instead. But Phoveus is not something, I don't know if I expected to see it between these teams. The way a lot of them have been talking about it, it's huge. C9 decide not to pick up the Arlott. I think they feel comfortable, but also the Phoveus does well against the Arlott, right? All the dashes. Arlott wants to get up close and personal. Phoveus wants you to get up close and personal. So Phoveus is going to feel good, but I love the Lilia pick because it's not a dashy marksman. It's someone that can kind of keep range, bomb down onto this Phoveus pick. So C9 definitely, they have some answers.
They definitely have answers, and with the burst potential, the early game pressure that the Lilia can provide, it's going to be something they have to watch out for. Not to mention they banned out the Valentina on the side of BTK, so they can't take the black shoes away from the Lilia. So, I mean, it kind of does work over there inside of Mark Cutie's favor. Now, Hoon still has yet to give a response, though. We'll see what he picks up in the mid lane. Like I said, in week 1, he was running a lot of more extended range mages. He was running Navaria, the Eve, but this time around we're seeing him get a little bit more up close and personal. So I wonder what he is going to pull in there. Shark, though, going back to his roots. I know you remember back in those M3 days.
Yes.
The Lolita has been locked in. They're definitely digging deep in their bag for game number 4.
Like I said, we've been seeing Lolita slowly kind of creep back into the meta. I think it's a solid pick, especially up against something like a Lilia, up against what looks like C9 could try to bring. They could maybe try to bring a more clumped up composition here. Having something like a Lilia, having something like this Nolan and the Edith. We are about to come into bans here. I do want to take a quick note, Wheezy. You know, as the series have gone on, both of our faces have gotten shinier and shinier. The gloss of sweat is slowly building up, and I feel like
it's the glow.
Yeah, the glow is coming.
We're
We're both breaking a sweat during this series. I think as it goes on, we'll just be dripping by the end. So yeah, big shout out to that.
It's Florida. It's the Florida heat.
Yeah, it's Florida.
Yeah, you got to love to see it. But, I mean, hey, that's what happens when you have a great performance between 2 powerhouse teams. And they're definitely putting on a show today. Right now, 2-1. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better way for this series to go. But it's yet for BTK to tell the story. Are they going to take this to a game number 5? Are we going to close it out with 4 games and Cloud9 claiming victorious? You know, we'll see. But we are looking at the lineup so far. Some great crowd control for the side of BTK. They got the Lolita, a comfort pick for sure on Shark. Then you also got the Phoveus for Chicken. It's going to be the first time we get to see Chicken run this Phoveus in this NACT fall regular season. Zane, though, on the Julian, we got to see him use that before, right? So maybe it'll work this time in his favor. There's a lot of frontline presence between those 3 heroes that they have for the side of BTK, which can get grouped up easily in some crowd control if they're not careful. Speaking of crowd control, though, there's not too much crowd control for the C9 side composition, but the Lilia is the problem, right? The Lilia not only can deal some massive damage over to the Phoveus, but also to the Julian if he's not careful.
Most definitely, and with these bans coming in, we're wondering what Hoon's going to go to. They foresee a possible Fermis. Would have been a solid pick here. I was going to say Yeeve's still open. We saw Hoon pick it last time, but no. C9's like, no, not today, man. No Yeeve for you. Yeah, we're running out of options. Could definitely go for that Novaria, have some range. We saw that last week. But I think they want something maybe a bit more up close, something that can kind of sit in the box that they want to create with this Phoveus and this Lolita. But what's really out there, right? We're running options. You still have the Luyi. Luyi could be a possibility here. We saw Mark Cutie use it last time. Would give some nice angles paired up with this Lolita, so that's another possibility.
Yeah, I really am interested to see kind of how it plays out. I mean, the Eve was just banned out. I was going to say the Eve could be a combination, especially with that Numeon Blast dropping down. But that has been taken off the table. They're definitely trying to focus in on Hoon now, trying to lock in and give him a little bit of a hard time closing out this draft. I'm liking what I'm seeing from both sides right now, though. I still got to see a little bit, possibly more crowd control from the side of Cloud9. I mean, they still can do that. I mean, you can run the Edith in the XP lane. It still can be flexed into the roam position, which opens up a whole nother window of opportunity for the side of Cloud9. Speaking of opportunity, though, they're going to go ahead and lock in that show for some more additional crowd control. It's going to be single crowd control for the majority of it, though, with the way of the Dragon for displacement. Speaking of displacement, though, a little bit of a surprise, at least for myself. Not the first time we've seen it in the NACT fall season. Oh my God! For the first time we've seen that in the NACT fall season, the Wan paired up with the Angela.
Okay, this is interesting. I'm not counting it out at all. Like I said, we're in a very crazy meta right now. A lot of us were, you know, we saw Lolita Hanabi over in PH, so I'm not like saying this is bad. I do think the Wan, it's going to pair up well against. It's not going to have to suffer from the way of the Dragon. It has a way to get away. Hoon has two options. You can jump onto the Wan or you can jump onto Zane here. This time BTK has some late game potential along with early game, so they're kind of making up for any problems they might have had in the last game. Basic though on the Beatrix. These are the, you know, we haven't seen these marksmen in a while. We haven't seen them in a while.
Yeah, haven't seen them for a while, but it doesn't mean they don't work, right? And that's what we're going to be looking at today. Can he get the crossbow of Tang off? Can he get those weakness points to be able to proc that in time before being shredded down? Basic going a little bit more of a safer option on this Beatrix, a jack of all trades, able to close the distance, but also able to fight from afar. Who has the answers? You know, we have to kind of ask that question, right? Zane on this Julian, best player on the Assassin. He profited on this Nolan earlier, may be able to profit again. The Edith matchup, Chicken versus Nats, the Phoveus. I love what I'm seeing, meta in the making, and a possible game winner here for the side of Cloud9, or a game 5 if BTK can close this one out.
Most definitely, and let's jump in to possibly the final game of this 4-point series. This is BTK up against Cloud9, and just a refresher, it's no best of 7, it's no best of 5. They're playing 4 games. If it ends up 2-2, they'll go to a 5th game just to see who the winner actually is. But if Cloud9 closes this out now, they leave with the lead. And there's a first blood.
What is going on? Hoon falls this early in the game. A massive advantage over there for the side of Cloud9. We're not even 1 minute in and able to find that kill.
I'm going to tell you how I win right now. Cold World walked up, gave him a kick to the face. Mark Cutie came up with the broom and cleaned things up. That's how that fight went down right there.
Yeah, and right now, with them being bursted down, gives them a little bit of a slight edge. I mean, not a massive one, though. I feel like they still can turn this back around their favor. Hoon is running on this Angela, though, so he is going to be able to use that hard guard. He's able to keep the team alive and play with the utilities. I'm expecting the Ice Queen wand to be picked up so he can provide some additional slow on those hits for contact.
All right, so let's take a look. We've already got a kill over the side of Cloud9. Doesn't mean it's over. It's only a 300 gold lead. We do have the concussive blast on Shark. Gonna help out maybe a bit in these wave clear lanes. I mean, in clearing lane, but it's not gonna be anything huge like what we saw with the concussive blast Grok. I do want to see Hoon and Shark move around a bit more if they want to keep up. You're up against Cold World on Cho and Mark Cutie on Lilia, which is going to be intense in the early game. It's something you really want to push into the enemy side of the river with, and it's something that we know Cloud9 can do very well if they want to. First turtle on the map. Level 4s are incoming all around, and Mobazane just trying to get his orange buff as Cold World sits in his face. Does not use the retribution, so Mobazane will be able to contest for this turtle, but they're already making the engage. A lot of damage does come down onto Shark. Shark might be in a little bit of trouble, forced to back off. Best player, very low. Fly Chicken looking for the finish. Turtle gonna get reset here. Will BTK try to finish this off? Yes, Cloud9 gonna back off, and that's first turtle over to the side of BTK. Very well done.
Yeah, well done indeed. Able to get that turtle. No matter with Hoon falling, they were able to find that window of opportunity and capitalize on it. Now, we got to ask the question, does BTK take this to a game number 5? I love seeing things go the distance. Honestly, even though I'm rooting for C9 in my vote, I'm rooting for BTK to win this one because, like I said, I like seeing it go back and forth. Right now, though, the later this game goes, I mean, as long as Hoon can find a way to not be bursted down so early, his heart guards are going to be huge and very impactful, especially with Zia and that crossbow tank.
Yeah, you know, what really makes this game so intense right now is it's not a grand finals, right? This isn't really for who the better team is overall. This is for trash talk and Discord channels. This is for interview.
This is for NA drama.
Yeah, this is for NA drama right here. This is for interviews that we can say, yeah, I told you it was going to be 3-1. Nats is looking for that 3-1. He said it the other day. He's got a lot on the line. We got pride. We got ego. We got Zia and Basic both on normal gold laners right now. This is for all the marbles of the next couple weeks.
You know, Nats did say 3-1, and right now it's still possible for it to be 3-1. We'll find out right now, and Nats is standing on business in this game. Right now, though, BTK, I mean, with that turtle on their side, they do have a little bit of an advantage, so you can't count them out. Right now, I like their composition. It's different. It's not something we're used to seeing, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't work. Ooh, good kill, though. MLBB Zayn able to find best player, catch him out of position. Ray the Dragon for the knockup. Zayn taking some massive blows. Heart guard activated just in time to keep Zayn alive. Zia will find Basic on the 1v1 matchup on the top side as well. They're getting everything they need. Cold War will fall next. MLBB Zayn in the middle with the enhanced chains will be able to shut him down and get back to safety.
Okay, we got a game here. We got a game. They're going back and forth. Even the fights, our Fried Chicken now getting involved as well. This is getting intense.
Yeah, intense is definitely the word I would use as well. Right now, BTK, their foot's on the gas. They're being very aggressive, and it's working, right? Able to take that turtle, able to possibly take this one as well. Nowhere to contest. Best player finding Zia. They're just shutting him down right there with the 2v1 matchup, but I guess that kind of makes up for Zia taking down Basic on the 1v1 matchup.
Yeah, and Zia gets a lot of gold plating there. Gold plates are now gone, so Basic can't get them. He tries to, but they disappear a little bit too fast. He may be able to get this tower, though, which can be huge. Shark gonna try to come out to help out. So at this point, BTK holding a bit of a lead, right? It's about 1,000. They do seem to have at least a little bit of control when it comes in terms of some of these team fights. Hoon, even though getting taken out early on, is able to make a big difference with these heart guards and has timed them very well. Taking a look at the items, I really want to focus on gold laners. Zia already get the Corrosion Siphon. His build is a little bit cheaper than Basic. Basic picks up the Vampiric Malik first, finishes out the boots, and that's going to make this BOD finish a little bit later, which means his power spike is going to come a little bit later compared to Zia's. So it's definitely an interesting dynamic in terms of build between these two gold laners.
Yeah, but he does have that quick attack speed, especially with those swift boots. Speaking of attack, though, both sides smelling blood in the water, but who has the bigger shark? Nats very low. MLBB Zayn able to take him down, able to find his 3rd kill of the game with Julian.
Yeah, BTK definitely have the spike in their hands right now. They're definitely in the lead. This doesn't mean Cloud9 is out just yet, but they got to bide some time.
Oh, yo, he blocked the gloom with the shield, forcing Marquiti into the tier 2 turret, and down goes the mid turret. A well-timed decision and some great synergy from Bloodthirsty Kings to open up this map in their favor. Now have an opportunity to heavily invade the side of Cloud9 at the 6-minute mark.
Yeah, I mean, I got a feeling this Lolita's been kind of in the pocket for a bit. They've been waiting to use, oh, wait a second, best player in trouble.
Yeah, needs to get out of there, but Demonic Force for the shutdown. Best player finding his 2nd death of the game. Chicken finding his 2nd kill of the game to match it. Right now, just an excellent gameplay from the Bloodthirsty Kings. Not the same, so I guess kind of the same story from game number 2 or 3 though, right? We saw them in the lead, but then they kind of fumbled near the end. This time, can they keep that momentum? The way the Dragon with the knockup on his Zayn, hard guard to keep him alive. A good decision from Hoon, keeping Zayn on his toes.
Yeah, I think that Heart Guard is going to be so clutch in dealing with the Way of the Dragon, right? It's going to be so clutch in dealing with the pickoffs that Cloud9 wants to try to pull off. It is the perfect answer. And the big difference between this game and last game is last time BTK didn't have big late game insurance. This time they brought it in the form of a Wanwan and in the form of a Phoveus. They have answers, but mainly I think even as long as BTK holds a lead, they're winning. They're even winning in late game. They have a Wanwan who's gonna pop off eventually. It might take some time, but Zia's gonna be scary.
And that's not any 1-1, that's Zia's 1-1. And we know, I mean, time and time again in NACT, he thrives on this hero. Comfort pick that a lot of people have forgotten about, but he'll quickly remind you if you're not careful. Picking up the corrosion side and the DSS for the additional slow and damage on top of that. Definitely a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, and he's going to get to that Trinity build so much faster because he doesn't have to buy boots, man. He doesn't have to buy boots. He's walking barefoot in the land of Dawn right now, and he's okay with that. He's a fast-moving Wanwan. There goes another tower. They are shredding through Cloud9 like butter right now.
Look how fast Zia is moving right now. He is ready for the team fight. He is itching for some action, and now he's going to farm even quicker up against Cloud9. Basic, though, I mean, a little bit of a slow start on this Beatrix.
Oh, Heart Guard locked on to Zia. Zia's looking for the first kill of the game right here. Looking for the crossbow of Tang. Able to secure one.
He killed him too fast. He did get it. He was able to proc it if he wanted to, but he decided to just go in for the kill. Oh, speaking of kills, Onibiru's passion drops down. Both sides fight it out. Zane able to find Cool World unstoppable. 5-0-0. A flawless gameplay for the Julian jungle.
And not to mention, Shark has taken not a death yet. 0-0-7, so able to get some gold on top of those runs. Oh! Oh, man.
Zane is not playing around right now. Able to find Marcutie. This is a one-sided story for game number 4. And you know what that smells like? A possible game number 5.
Yeah, not to mention Shark just got that Oracle locked in as well. That means more shields for yourself and the homies. Mobazane just locked in the Crystal. That means more damage for you and the homies. BTK just thriving right now. Feeling good. Let's take a look at the items once more. Fried Chicken also. We got Blade Armor. We got Radiant. We got the belt locked in early for big stackage. Lolita also with the Flask of the Oasis. Plus Flask of the Oasis on Hoon. I mean, we got shields all over the place. We got answers all over the place to deal with the pickoff potential that Cloud9 brought. And BTK is feeling it. The question is, can Cloud9 bring the big comeback like they brought last time?
Yeah, Basic down by 1.5k in gold. He just got the Blade of Despair, picks up another Legion sword, still holding on to those Swift Boots. Zane will be able to claim this lore for the Bloodthirsty Kings. They're down to what, their inhibitor turrets right now? I'm pretty sure, yeah, they're down to their inhibitor turrets right now for the side of Cloud9 at the 10-minute mark. Not even a Luminous Lord, but an opportunity for the Bloodthirsty Kings to take an inhibitor.
And so now Lord marching down. Do they break an inhibitor here, right? They do have Basic who should be able to help shred. They're going to melt down that Lord pretty quick. BTK didn't sync up lanes. Oh, Lord, look for the kick.
Ooh, does drop down a lot of damage. Basic finding Mobazane. Oh, demonic force from Chicken though, trying to find a possibility to avenge Zane. Not able to get it though, very low, needs to disengage. Zia was not able to find the crossbow Tang for that fight, but that's what you gotta keep an eye on. Speaking of keeping an eye on, 1v1, best player, Hoon.
If best player lost that.
Yeah.
If best player lost that 1v1 to an Angela, he would have never heard the end of it. He would have never heard the end of it, so good thing he won.
Yeah, they're keeping it spicy in the land of Dawn. I love the off-screen 1v1 matchup, because that's when the talk starts after the game. That's where everybody's got to go back and remember. But right now, 9-4 for BTK, leading the way for game number 4.
All right, back to the items here. They are starting to build up, and, you know, BTK, this is where they messed up last game. They pushed a little bit too hard on those Lord pushes. They took a loss or two. They fell into the clutch of Cold World's big Way of the Dragon, and Cold World still has a nice combo with Basic. Last time it was the Speedy Light Wheel Way of the Dragon. This time it's going to be the bombardment from Basic. It's going to be the sniper shot. It's going to be the big dam coming from Basic, and they got to be careful the way that they engage on this, because just like last time, Cloud9 still has great defense. You pile up the glooms, you use the big bombardment, the grenade bombardment. You have lots of answers to a Lord coming at you, and BTK can't just crash through the door.
Yeah, I mean, and Shark picking up this Lolita, he's been doing so good on it. Those placements of Kinumi on Blast, dropping that Bulwark Shield as well. But speaking of both sides, the way the Dragon, Hardcore right on Mobizane's tail. Hoon, not even gonna blink, knows when to go in and keep this team alive. And Chicken will punish Cold World on that engagement.
And this is what BTK needs to do, right? They need to find a pick before they get the big engage. Even if it's a response pick like that, when Cloud9 thought they had it, they weren't able to get it, and BTK responds by getting one of their own. And this is when BTK, I think, is really allowed to push in. Once they have one member down, but watch for Nats in the backside hiding out in this bush.
Yeah, watch out for Nats in the bush. May be able to get a pick off, but spotted out by Fried Chicken and quickly forced to use that flicker. Able to get back to the inhibitor in the nick of time. BTK now going to shift focus back into the jungle. They see the Lord is going to be spawning in the next 10 seconds, and they definitely don't want to overextend and make a costly mistake.
All right, yeah, it's about a 7K gold lead, 6K gold lead for BTK right now. Lord is coming up. How does Cloud9 approach this? I think they need slightly better positioning here. It does look like best player is going to go for a lane cut up in the top side, push in on the top lane. But Lord's going to get shredded down, so hopefully they at least maybe get a tower push. As long as Cloud9 plays this safe and BTK doesn't make it. I mean, if BTK makes a huge mess up, it can still turn around. But Cloud9 should be able to survive this push unless somebody gets picked off early.
Yeah, you know, but it's that window of opportunity is getting less and less, especially with Zia on this 1-1. Yeah, he's not stacked up in kills, but he's revved and ready to go. He's an engine waiting to be started for the side of the Bloodthirsty Kings. I mean, look at his items. He's sitting at 11K.
Yeah, he's pumped up, he's fed, he's eating good, still bootless, still barefoot in the land of Dawn, because he don't need shoes to kick you in the face. He don't need shoes to get this off, and he's coming in on item number 6 of full damage.
And speaking of damage, knocking on a window for Cloud9. Zia able to take down Cold World. Best player taking the inhibitor. Heart Guard activated to keep them alive. The Lord at about 45% HP. Chicken still in the heart of the battle. Bursted down by Nats. Looks like BTK not able to close it out with that Lord forced out of the base. But you are going to see the split push from best player on the top side. Opens up the base for the Bloodthirsty King. Can he get out of there alive, though? The need for speed, hot pursuit on the way. Nats, though, there to keep him alive just in case. And it looks like he's able to escape back to safety.
Yeah, didn't even need the Cyclone, didn't even need the speed boost. He's good, and honestly, in Cloud9's position right now, the fact that they're behind on gold, that is a win trade for them. They went inhibitor for inhibitor. Not only that, but they took out Fried Chicken as well. That is a huge win trade for Cloud9. They had 4 people in the face and were in the base and were able to defend. And this shows how good their siege defense is right now, because they didn't even have best player with them. And they took on 5 of VTK plus a Lord and only lost a member and a tower. Taking a look at the items now, I want to take a look at Basic, because it might be about time that he's going to really come online. He's got the BOD in, he's got the Malefic Roar, Hunter's Strike, Halberd. He's got a lot of damage incoming, and he's got one more item as well. The big fault in that last push from Zia, he got the crossbow of Tang off, but they weren't close enough. He only took out Cold World. He wasn't able to make it multiply onto multiple members, and as long as Cloud9 can continue to do that, they'll be okay.
I'm seeing a Winter Crown picked up over there by Nas as well. Cold World almost spotted out of position, is able to extend that distance with the G Condone. A little bit of a flashy recall spam on his way out. Basically trying to get some sniper damage. Rose Gold Meteor picked up by best player. We'll have a little bit of that shielding as well when he gets a little low in that HP. Now, I didn't catch Basic picking up a Wind of Nature yet. I think he's going to get it for his last item, so he is going to have to be careful if Zia is able to proc that crossbow tank.
Definitely a possibility. And Zia also, I mean, with Zia having the Wind of Nature, he can really get aggressive here. He can survive a kick. He's already got, I mean, 1-1 already has a lot in her kit to be able to nullify CC and not get picked off. And the Wind of Nature just kind of adds to it. And we said it in the very beginning, this game could come down to these gold laners both picking up marksmans. I mean, what more could you ask for here? Basic up against Zia on not some strange gold lane pick, but old school marksmans here. I like it.
Yeah, best player, though. He's not going to fight on this Lord. He's going for the split push. Can he get it, though? I don't know if he has enough time. Both sides find it out, though. Demonic Force dropped down by Fried Chicken. Possibility to be able to take this Lord. Finish Rage dropping down. The passion to follow from Basic. Nats very low. Zia able to take him down. Split push from best player. Spotted out by Hoon. Not able to get the finish he was looking for. Mark Cutie Taking a lot of damage. Of course,
he's still going. Best player's still going. Best player's still going.
Yeah, he's still going. Oh, wait a second. He's doing it.
Stop him.
He hit Hoon, though. He hit Hoon by accident, so he has to go back. And the minions are not in play as well. Both sides had a crazy stalemate.
Man.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going back. It's like, what are you doing? They're gonna go ahead and take this Lord. Mobazane is the one to claim that. Marcuti will find Zia. The cameraman's going crazy. Yo, credits to the cameraman, man. My guy was on both engagements, man. Fighting for their life, trying to close that game out. That was a risky play from best player, but now needs to get it away to safety. Able to do that with ease. I would say that was kind of worth it, though. I mean, he almost pulled it off. He needed maybe a little bit more of time, and I think he could have got the split push.
I just want to say it's 9 p.m. here Eastern time in the States. It's probably about 9, 8, 10 a.m. overseas. If you're just tuning in, we're here on game number 4, and it's back-to-back. Shark in a little bit of trouble. Lord marching down.
And quickly bursted out of the game by Cloud9 in the mid-river. Not even going to let it cross to their side of the map. Drawing the line this time around for game number 4. Hard guard activated on Zane Hoon. Quickly placing that on top of him. He's done great on these placements. Good reads on him to keep him alive through these engagements. But Trex, 18 minutes in. This is possibly our longest match of this entire 4 games today. And a potential stalemate between both teams with how late it is.
Okay, so I think what we got here is it's coming down to these two teams and their play styles, right? Cloud9, I think overall in all these games has won in overall map control. BTK has won in a lot of these big team fights, right? And I think BTK can continue to win in these team fights, but if Cloud9 can get that sneaky back door, can pull something off, it's gonna spell trouble. BTK has to find an answer to it. They gotta play it tight. They gotta be able to rush a Lord down quickly without someone getting around the back. And if someone does go around the back, they gotta push. They gotta either send 2 people home or they gotta hit the gas and try to look for that big wipe against those 4 members left over. It's definitely a toss-up. We're here at the 60K Gold Mine. Cloud9 about to get some of these final items locked in. They just got to buy a few more minutes, and then it's no longer a battle of gold leads, right? It is just a battle of skill here. Everyone maxed out. I don't think we've seen one of these games yet, and NACT go the distance like this.
No, this is the first, and a very close game indeed between both sides. Even though BTK had it heavily in their favor in the beginning, right now, the later this goes, the longer the respawn timers are, and the more even of a matchup it will become. It's going to boil down to who makes that mistake first. Everybody at full build right now. Winter Crown picked up over there by Marcuti for his final item. Keep in mind, Nats has it as well. We don't see a Winter Crown. Actually, we see one on the side of BTK over there by Fried Chicken.
They
but
don't
outside
need no
of that,
crowns.
There's an immortality, though. There's one immortality on Zia.
Plenty of room to I mean, Zia has so much juggling space right now with the Wind of Nature, the Immortality, can bounce off, sell an item, pick up the Winter Crown, can juggle into a Gold Meteor. If he's able to pull all that off, he has a lot of juggling potential, and that's what comes with the Wan and not having to pick up the boots and whatnot. You have a lot of opportunity. Now they're starting to give Zia these orange buffs as well. I'm still waiting for that big crossbow of Tang, though, man. We've seen Zia pop it off. We saw it in the last Lord fight. He popped it off against Nats, was able to get the kill, but only got it on Nats. He hasn't been able to get the full barrage just yet, you know?
It's like when you're at a movie theater and you're waiting for the climax of the movie to happen, and we have yet to see it from Zia, but this may be the opportunity for that. They realize best players on the bot side, so they're going to go ahead and go in for this Lord play. A great decision. Zane will be able to get it with the Retribution. Both sides find it out, though. The way the Dragon connects on the basic, forces you to win the nature to save himself. Demonic Force dropping down Chicken.
Best player.
Far behind enemy lines. Hard guard activated, keep him alive by Hoon. Best player on the bot side, though. Split push may be able to take this inhibitor. I don't know if he has enough time. Nobody back there. Nats will find Fried Chicken, though. BTK quickly running back. If you look at Shark, he went there to match with best player on the bottom lane.
And now the Lore's just gonna get melted down again. I can't take it anymore, Weezy. Every time they send best player down, he takes the tower, Fried Chicken dies, and everything gets reset again. We're on 22 minutes right now. BTK does nothing with this Lord, and you know what that means, right? Cloud9 is winning right now. Whether you like it or not, they are in control of the game right now. BTK needs to find an answer to this quickly.
This is like watching David versus Goliath in live action right now. Cloud9 inching their way up the map piece by piece, turret by turret. Numion Blast, double set on the Cold World on the Nats, but not an opportunity to deal some damage. Best player, though, almost caught out by MOBA Zane. Heartguard, look at Hoon, ready to lock it on in case Zane needs the assistance, but not going to waste it. Yeah, right now, I mean, yeah, without BTK having the push potential to close this out, Cloud9 essentially is slowly winning this game in their favor, but it can all change in the blink of an eye. One Numion Blast for a setup and a crossbow tank could be the difference that BTK needs.
I think at this point, it might be time to maybe send Zia to the off lane. He's not getting any super big plays right now, and with best player taking off lane, they can still get the retry on the Lord, right? So I think they need to do something about the off lane. I think Zia, with the maneuverability, with the Wind of Nature, can kind of handle a possible best player. I know that looks like a lot of damage, but Zia can still dance around. So they got to find out some sort of answer to the long lane pushes that Cloud9 is bringing to this. I mean, they're in control of macro right now, and it's showing that it's coming out on top.
You know, it's funny because it's super late in the game now, but they have more turrets than BTK does now, which is kind of insane.
That's why they're winning.
Yeah, that's why they're winning right now. Just from the, and that was best player. He took the top inhibitor, and then he went and split push and took the bottom one on the Lord plays. I feel like this is a new Lord dance that we're seeing, right? They got rid of the old Lord dance and in with the new, where they burst it down in the mid-river instead and delay it to be able to have another Lord and another fight and buy some time.
Listen, I'm going to call NA out on this right now. This has always been the Lord dance, right? Long lane control is super important. This is like the key of macro, and BTK is showing they're having trouble against it. And this is something that we've seen happen a lot from certain teams. It's something that even though Basic might get his trash talk here and there, it's something that he does know and tries to implement, though maybe he doesn't always implement it amazingly. Right now, Cloud9 is using it perfectly, and now they have control over this Lord, and they're going to rush down.
No, they're rushing for it. They're going to just go straight in for it. Nipper is passing from Basic. They're not wasting any time. Best player able to get it. They just need to push back. They need to get back to safety. BTK on the chase. Zia wanting the crossbow of Tang Hoon. Even trying to apply some slow, but not able to get it. Cold World, a little bit of a G-Kundo. They just need to push back. They have this Lord this time around. This may be another comeback for Cloud9 2 times in a row.
Is this gonna be the 3-1 that Nats was talking about? Is history being written right now? Did Nats tell us the truth yesterday?
Never question the Philippines. I think we're gonna learn that the hard way. Nats predicting the 3-1 ending. Is this what he saw? Is this what he foretold? Or will BTK be able to prove him wrong? Look at the Lord slowly making his way on the top side.
Well, what makes that prediction even better is he didn't say 4-0. It wasn't just like an ego call. He was like, we'll go 3-1. And that's what might just happen right here as Cloud9 brings down the grip.
Yeah, bringing down the grip and holding it heavy. You are going to see the Lord still strong, still intact. Fried Chicken trying to hold off the side of Cloud9 from pushing into that inhibitor. Zane quickly bursting down this Lord. It has been bursted out of this game. Both sides find it out, though. Window of opportunity for BTK to win this engagement. Niver's passion goes out. Bulwark Shield trying to negate the damage. Look at Zia, though, getting over there. He's going to miss that Landshaker. It will go in for a possible way. The Dragon hits with the G-Kundo. Very low. Forced to go back to safety. Provided with the survivability, the heals on Hoon with this Angela, and they're able to delay yet another Lord. 25 minutes in, the longest game of the NACT fall season.
Zia is dancing right now. This man is all around the world pushing this 1-1 to its limits, but it just doesn't feel like enough right now. BTK able to defend. We're creeping into 30-minute territory soon. Next Lord, what's that going to be? Lord number 5? Lord number 6 is the next Lord. And that right there will most likely be the game ender. Who's going to be able to take it?
Yo, we're stepping into uncharted waters right now for the NACT fall season, right? I mean, we're seeing things we have yet to see before. Right now, the coin is being flipped yet again. And this is not even a grand finals. This is just round 2. A potential for a game 5, and BTK looking to earn their title. But Cloud9, they're putting up a fight as well. It's even Stevens.
And we did see some juggling from Zia earlier as well. Popped the Wind of Nature, sold it, picked up Rose Gold Meteor. Now we'll get the passive from that again. It's definitely not going to be easy to kill Zia. He just needs that one big crossbow tang, but we haven't seen it yet. And without it, I don't know if BTK can close the game. Without that one big wipeout, it's going to be tough. They have two options. Either that comes in, or we see that huge Numion blast, that big side stealth Numion blast has to come in, because without one of those two things, BTK might not be able to take this.
Best player going in, though, on the engagement up against Chicken. Zia, Shark, and Hoon heavily rotating together. Cold World trying to find the separation. They're going in for Chicken.
Chicken in
Looks
trouble.
like they're going to go in for the kill. He is in trouble. Hit with the G-Condo in the way of the Dragon, putting everything in on him. Hard guard activated, though. A misplay. Making Best Player needs to get out of there. He has the reputation for the team. Both sides fighting it out. Zia still too far behind to hit the crossbow tang. A close call, but neither side will find a casualty.
There's so much security on both of these teams. There's so much sustainability. Immortality's all over the place. We got heart guards coming in. We got shields, Flask of the Oasis, everything in the kit for BTK and Cloud9 as well. But Cloud9 is doing off pure movement, man, pure grooves. Cold World looking for the pick to change the game.
Yep, look at Best Player rushing in, trying to find an opportunity to take this Lord back in his favor. Here comes Chicken through the mid-river. Also, Lord at about 25% HP. Zane in retreat distance, may be able to get it. Hits away the Dragon. Best Player gets some retreat. Will find the kill. Hard guard activated onto Zia. Looks for that crossbow tang. The popcorn is hot. It's popping. Nets trying to get away. Marcuti trying to kite, trying to drop down the glooms. They got the Lord, but they lost Best Player in the process.
And they lose Best Player, so that is huge. It's 60 seconds. Is Best Player going to be the game-changing moment to make BTK survive this Lord push? BTK hunted. They know, man, we lost the Lord. We need a few pickoffs here to try to turn the tides. It's 45 seconds on the clock, counting down. We're at 29 minutes. I got a feeling we're going to break 30, and honestly, if BTK defends this, it could go another one. But wait, what was Zane in trouble? Watch out for the kick. Kicks him the wrong way. They're locked on.
Basic! He closes the game out. Cloud9, the Nats prediction. A wise professor from RSG Philippines making his appearance on Cloud9. A 3-1 finish. History in the making, and the cleanest prediction North America has seen yet.
3-1. Look at the Cloud9 boys in the gaming house feeling themselves. The moment they won that, I saw chairs spin and I saw people standing up. They were hype about it. That game came down to the wire. But today, Cloud9 escapes with the win. And not just escapes, but dominates with the win, showing that they are ready for this NACT. And BTK's got to go back to the drawing board, baby.
Yeah, man, what a series. I mean, honestly, that was the best comeback we have seen in a while for North America, right? I mean, BTK had a massive advantage for a majority of that game, but not able to close it out. Was it because of the Angela mid? Was it because of not having a true traditional mid laner? Was that the deciding factor? Nonetheless, though, both sides had some excellent gameplay from every single round. Everybody was at the edge of their seats. Trex even mentioned it. We were glowing. We were shining. Sweat was dripping as we were watching all of these matches. And right now, the show is officially over. That is our final round of the day. Cloud9 closing it out. 3-1 finish predicted by Nats.
Man, I gotta say, you know, I don't think it has anything to do with the draft, man. I think both teams brought up a great draft there. I think Cloud9, I gotta give it to them, and I think they played better. Today that's kind of been my motto today, man. I think Cloud9 played better. You can clip it, you can say what you want, but today, right now, they controlled the map, they controlled the macro. They played like a top tier team, and they executed it to its finest. Overall, I mean, they just played an amazing game. Taking a look at some of these stats. At this point, when you go into 30 minutes, these stats don't even mean that much. Everyone did their job to a T. Cold World, Marcuti, Best Player, Basic, Nats. I mean, the whole team stepped up here.
You know, if I had to give one player the MVP for that game, though, I would have to give it to Basic, because he split pushed the top inhibitor and the bottom inhibitor to create that opportunity. He was buying so much time, and it was a matter of milliseconds. I mean, even at the last minute when Basic rushed in, right, he had Cold World there with the Cho to be able to protect him in a small window of opportunity. You saw BTK rushing in. You saw them trying to get the final touches to burst them down, but just a matter of seconds, Basic pops the wind of nature, and he gives it everything he's got. And there we go! Basic, Mr. Hollywood, Mr. MVP.
Mr. Retry God with the takes, man. Basic repping it, and I mean, I like it. MVP, very clean. Best player as well. You know, I said it from the beginning, BTK likes to play this tight comp. Well, Cloud9 took their book and read it easy. Got him with the banana split all around the map. And BTK just didn't have an answer from it from start to finish, man. They weren't able to keep up with Cloud9. Let's take a look at some of these replays. In the beginning, BTK was feeling themselves. It was so similar to the last comeback from C9, man. BTK had control. It felt like they had this game in their hands. Zia was popping off. Shark was popping off on the Lolita. And then once we got to about 12, 13, 14 minutes, you know, second Lord. Here's one that we're seeing right now. Even here, best players just taking towers. He feels confident that his team can defend this Lord push, and this is what we've seen from them over the past 4 games. They're so comfortable doing the 4v5 and having one player handle business somewhere else.
And that takes a lot of confidence. You know, when best players over there split pushing on the top side, it's a lot of confidence knowing that there's a Lord in your base in a full 5-man team. And there it goes. We gave credit over to Basic with Coro protecting him in that last minute play. A matter of seconds, you saw Chicken, you saw everybody rushing to try and burst him out. And they had the numbers to do it, but a matter of seconds, they're able to close it out. Now we got to swing on over to our host and get her valuable insight on how she felt about today's final series.
Wow, I was clinching on the edge of my seats. It's been a crazy series. I thought BTK had it in the last game especially, but it's like you go away for 5 minutes and come back, oh no. What happened with the team fights that were so clean in the very beginning, but they're just not able to close up the series. And it really shows how well Cloud9 played. Even the games that they're losing from the beginning, they were able to stay hold and make a comeback. And congratulations for this dominating series coming in from Cloud9, really putting themselves, proving that they're on the top spot right now for NA.